Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Monday again. Hope you had a good weekend. It's April 29th, 2019, and this is the week running up to the Huntersville contest, which is my first contest of the spring. And so, hope everybody did as instructed and went out and had a good time this weekend. So, you can come back and tell me about it on the show tonight. And, uh, and as usual, the links are posted in the Stunthangar control line forums, live streams / at the bench thread. And you can get the link from there in tonight's post. It's got tonight's date in it. It's always the newest one. I just posted it a moment ago. And if you want to come in with your video and microphone, you can click the link in that top post and come in here and visit with us. Also, the YouTube chat box is in its usual place. And it looks like we've also already got a super chat donation. Thank you, Jamie. Minnesota Mike's out there. Hi, Mike. And for those of you that don't know, the super chat $sign is at the bottom of the chat box when you're on the Stunt Hanger YouTube channel page, where you can watch this video without coming in live. You can watch our live feed and talk to us via the chat box. And that chat box at the bottom is where you can make these donations. And we appreciate that. That is server fees and equipment money for Sparky, as well as uh, walking around money for me. It gets my hobby budget a little bit of a boost, and I appreciate that. And so I got out to the shop this weekend and made made a little dust. Didn't do too bad. And it felt good to get out there and do some work. Um, and now all I've got to get ready to do for Stuntersville is to get a plane ready, and it pretty much is. I just need to go through the pre-flight on it from nose to tail, make sure the lines are flushed and the tanks cleaned out. I think it ought to be okay. I just flew it about 3 weeks ago, and so it should be ready to go. And making sure things like the prop doesn't fly off in the middle of the flight and the wheels don't fall off. And make sure all the screws are tight, and she's ready to go. Jack Snavely, hey dude, what's going on? So we got Jack Snavely, Minnesota Mike, Jamie Holford, and Minnesota Mike says, I'm flying home tomorrow morning, leaving Fargo, North Dakota, I think. Is that, yeah, Fargo's North Dakota, right, Mike? At 5 a.m. Ooh, man, that's rough. You got to get up early. You better not hang out with us too late tonight so you can get to the airport on time. I bet it's still winter time up there. I don't know if y'all get more than a month of summer in the Dakotas. But anyway, I'm sitting here ready to talk to whoever wants to drop in, and I'll be here until midnight at least. And if the conversation gets particularly enthralling, we'll be here as late as we want to talk. So let's see. I don't have any news and current events to talk about tonight. Look through. Nope. I last week or Friday I'd hoped Gerald would come in from New Zealand because I was going to ask him about the Anzac Dawn Parade, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps parade. But we'll see. Maybe he comes in tonight if he knows anything about that. One of my Cox Engine Forums friends, Dave from Palmerston, New Zealand, who is a uh, modeler on coxengineforums.com. That's one of my go-to forums for talking to my flying buddies, and uh, he is the one that told me about that. So I got New Zealanders in a couple of places around the forums, and uh, made friends with. Let's see, Jeff Riley. Good evening, Jeff. How are you tonight? And oh yeah, Mike's asking Jamie if he's still in the hospital. I doubt it. Jamie had something, hopefully minor, to be done on Friday and spent most of the day in the hospital. And I believe they would have had to chain him down to keep him in there this long. I think that it was more of an minor procedure. I have no idea. So I will quit talking about it at this time. Um, but let's see, we'll talk about aeromodeling. That's our primary mission. And we talk about anything you do in your shop, planes, trains, and automobiles. And we try to stay away from, too much political stuff and things that divide people, because we're here for air modeling, so that's what we'll stick to. If somebody will come in here and bail me out, I'm running out of stuff to talk about. So I'll drink my coffee and watch the YouTube. got got coffee, Mike and Ike's, goldfish, and cigarettes. That ought to carry me through the whole show. And let's see, what did I do in the shop? I got the table cleaned off. I know I've been talking about getting the new glass on it, and I finally I got an old shower door. It looks just like the one Wendy uses in his videos, and so I got the hardware off of it, the handles and the rollers. Hey, Gerald Wimmer, thanks for the super chat. We appreciate it. And got the glass ready to go on the table, and I had measured wrong before. I thought it was going to leave a bigger footprint than it really does, but so it's 55.5 inches long, and so I don't know, it's 30 something inches wide. I had been thinking it was wider than that, but looks like it fits on there pretty good. I still got to get a few things off the table, but I'm got my old building board and glass off. I had a big 3/4 inch piece of Lexan on there before, and but I think it was kind of wavy, and I don't want to build a wavy wing, but my main mission is to get it leveled off so I can build that cardinal wing. And if that shower door is good enough for Wendy, it's good enough for me. Build a straight wing. Hey, that's right. That's a Wendy plane too. The Cardinal is a Wendy or Nowski design. So I wonder what old Wendy's doing these days. Motorcycles, last I heard. Be fun if he'd drop in and talk to us some night, wouldn't it? So we got a few of what we call the big guys in the field that come in sometimes. We of course got I don't know. Those guys don't call themselves that, so I don't know who to call that. Bob Hunt, I guess, comes to mind. Bob came in the other night. Man, we were having awful audio problems the other night. I apologize for that. I hope we've got it settled now. And I had an idea of something that it could be, and that is that I've got a little mini tower speaker in the bedroom, and I just keep Pandora running 24/7 on that with music playing low in the bedroom. Helps me sleep, and it's relaxing. And I wonder if Pandora playing over the Wi-Fi while I'm using the same router here in the family room where the computer is, maybe I'm the one that's causing some of that background chatter. It seems to come and go with some members, and then other members more than others seem to bring it worse. And we had one example last week of let's see, it was Stephen McBride came in, and I think he was at a hotel on the Wi-Fi or something, and all of a sudden the audio just went to hell, and he signed off, and it got better. He signed back on and went through that routine a couple of times, and it cleared up when he finally, just signed off and went over to chat with us on YouTube. And that's what got me to thinking maybe it had something to do with my Wi-Fi system being active. So we'll see tonight. It only does it when video guests come in. So right now, I imagine y'all got a pretty good audio on me. But when people start to populate the live guests, let's see what happens. And I'm hoping for the best on that. Let's see what's going on over in YouTube. Let's see. Gary Sinclair says, Minnesota Mike says hi back. David Phelps, Jeff Riley, everybody saying hi to each other. Gerald Wimmer, hi Rusty, hope you're well. Hello to the other Stunthangar people. Missed a few shows as too busy. Need to put a drive shaft back in the car, but we'll listen to the rebroadcast on the garage radio. Okay, Gerald, I certainly understand that. Um, I went out one time. I had a drive shaft on my '69 Camaro that had gotten a little loose and was shaking the whole car at a certain speed. It would cause the car to shake, and decided I was going to go work on my car one night. I think it was probably about half crocked at the time. I don't know, but I was still back in my late 20s, early 30s, and I didn't have enough sense not to get under a car like that. But yeah, I bolted that drive shaft. I took it out, bolted it back in, thought I had it seated right, and my wife was driving the car to work the next morning and called me on the phone, and she had dropped the drive shaft about a mile away from the house. So I learned my lesson. But when I put it back in that time, the car didn't shake anymore. It just for some reason it wouldn't seat right. But let's see. Man, it's been a long time since I worked on any hot rods. I had a whole shop full of hot rod stuff was taking up about half of my shop, even while I was working on airplanes. And one of the guys over on Cox Engine Forum called himself Malibu 66. He lived in Stone Mountain, Georgia, right outside on the outskirts of Atlanta. And we got together, and I gave him my all kinds of, let's see, gave him my intake manifolds, a big Offenhauser dual quad tunnelorama. Gave him, um, I think somebody else got the crankshaft and the engine block, but he got a Lakewood explosion proof bell housing and just about half of the guts of my engine. He got the heads. I had the old double camel hump Chevy high performance heads with the 202 intakes and the 198 exhaust with the dual valve springs, and so all of that racing stuff I finally gave away, and then one of my dialysis patient friends I gave my slicks to, and my front tires. I had slicks on Fenton rims, and the front wheels were little narrow tires I had on Krager. I think they were Krager SS Centerline rims, and so I gave all that stuff away, and finally got my junk cleared out of there, and I got a good room for storing all my spare wood and wreckage. I call it the boneyard. That's where I keep new stuff and salvage stuff. And we've got 11 YouTubers watching right now. Nobody's coming in live yet, but I'm being tested. Let's see how long I can keep on going. Let's see. I'll light a cigarette here and see if I can remain interesting. Sometimes I'm more inclined to be interesting than others. I'm thinking I'm not doing so good right now, but I'll do the best I can. I want to talk about airplanes. If somebody out there has got show and tell materials, that's my favorite part of the show, is show and tell. When you come in and show us what you got or what you're building and talk about how you do it. We all compare notes on how we use various methods to get to the same end product in a build, and it's interesting how everybody's got different ways of doing it, but in the end it usually turns out flying fine, and they fly good. So what's on the table for me? Nothing new. I've got the I keep getting lame. I got my hip fixed. The broken hip, that's not even an issue anymore. It put me down for a couple of winters, but right now I just got arthritis, so I can't get out to the shop and do a lot. And when I do, the concrete floor slows me down and makes it worse. But I've got the little half-A Cox Hyper Viper on the table. It's the CNC, kind of a modern version of a Musiano hollow log style. It's not any, that has nothing to do with Walt, who died last week, by the way, at 96. April 20th, he passed away. But Walt Musiano built those hollow logs where he had just gutted out a block and shaped it like an airplane fuselage. Well, this is like a Cox Hyper Viper. It's got all of the right numbers as far as the moments for the nose, the wings, and the stab. And it's shaped right. It's about 27-inch wingspan. And I am getting ready. Here comes Sparky. All right, somebody to talk to. Hang on, Sparky. I'll have you in a jiffy. Show and broadcast. There we go. Hey, there's the Monado. Let me click on it and let everybody see it. And it's looking pretty good. That's a good looking plane. Hey, Sparky, how you doing? You within earshot?
Yeah, I've got to get my speaker set back up.
I had an idea of something on my end that might have been causing our audio problems. So we're doing a test run of my modification tonight. So far, I don't hear any chatter, but it's hard to tell until more guests come in.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good right now. Is that
Yes.
gold leaf on the wing where it says Monado?
Yes. That was done on the one video.
Yeah, I knew you had a video on gold leaf. I couldn't remember if that was it or not.
I've got the new spinner on it, the new tank in it, the new muffler on it, and the new landing gear on it. Gonna fly it tomorrow if the weather permits.
Oh, and the DC 540 update, Jeff Rowley just reminded about that. I turned it on right as you started it on Saturday or Sunday, and that was a good, informative show, and I'm glad you did it because that was on my shopping list next time I went out to get supplies. Oh, here comes Leonard Burrell. So everybody, DC 540 is not what it used to be. Just ask Sparky and look at his video. And Leonard doesn't have his camera on yet. There you go. Hey, Leonard, how are you tonight? Can you hear me okay?
Hello.
Hey, Leonard, can you hear me?
Hey, how are you? I sure
Okay,
can.
good. I was about to start
Loud and
pointing
clear.
at my mouth.
Okay.
I see the boss hiding there.
Okay.
To your left.
Okay.
You see the what?
Why am I
I
not?
see the boss hiding over there.
Picture here.
Helen's left.
Why have I
Maybe
got
you can't hear me.
What's going on, Leonard?
I have no picture here. I just have my picture and I have no other picture on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, I got your picture whenever you talk, and I got you in the film strip at the bottom too. So it's working on our end.
He's got to click on his film strip. He's got himself highlighted.
Oh, yeah. You
Okay.
might make sure you don't have a white border around your picture on the film strip. Click on it if that's there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've got a white border on me now.
Okay, click on it once.
Oh, there. Now I got your picture. Now I got everybody.
Okay.
Now I got your picture.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You're looking at yourself great. There you go.
There. Now I got you,
Okay,
Rusty.
good. Good.
We're good.
Yeah, that white border, that's for when you want to look at whatever somebody's holding up. Like if I'm holding a thing in front of the camera and you want to see it big, then you click on it, get that white border,
Exactly.
and then when you're
Okay.
through, you don't. That's it.
Makes sense.
All right. So did you do anything
Looks like
fun over the
Spark
weekend? Did you go flying or anything?
didn't get flying. It was rainy here. It was bad. Today, especially today, it was really bad.
There's frost on the windshield.
It was
this
we actually had
morning.
frost this morning,
Ooh.
and then it turned into being just a rainy day all day. So I worked on my airplane a bit. couldn't paint too much. I painted early before the rain came. And so the rest of the day, I basically just waited for paint to dry and started laying out letters and numbers on the wing of my Cardinal.
Yeah, I was about to ask you what kind of plane. Is it a Brodak profile Cardinal?
No, it's a Tom Dixon wing for a 60 size Cardinal.
Oh, a big Cardinal.
It's not that big. It's not as big as Wendy's. It's sort of in between.
Yeah.
So I'm running a Tiger 51 in it.
I love the Cardinals. They're beautiful.
Beautiful airplane.
Planes.
I've had really good success with my profile. And so I decided to build a full-bodied one that's a little bit bigger than the Brodak profile one.
Mine's better than his.
Hey, Naomi, how you doing?
Good. I let him fly it though, because it's got a 46 on it, and I find the 46 pulls just a little too hard for me. I prefer a 40. A 40 is more comfortable.
Yeah.
Your leg out.
I kind of agree.
What's that, Sparky?
Naomi, is your leg out of the cast?
Oh yeah, long time ago. I more or less, I was just wearing my ankle brace just for security, because I didn't want to, I was worried that spinning around in the circle would stress out my ankle too much, right? And it still wasn't very healed at that point, but that was like
2 years ago.
2 years ago almost. So it's healed up now.
You weren't there last year, right?
No, we couldn't make it because we were moving. We moved on June 1st, and Brodax is like only a few days later. So there was no way we were going to be able to be organized enough to get there. Like we moved from Barrie down to Dresden, which is like a 4-hour drive away. So it was a pretty major move.
What do you think of that spinner there?
Beautiful. Is that carbon fiber?
Yeah.
Very nice. Who makes those?
Oh, unobtainium.
Oh, unobtainium. I wouldn't say totally unobtainium. I actually have Wendy's spinner mold.
Yeah.
But I just haven't got around to getting the carbon fiber and the glue to make them.
What about the back plate? Is that made by somebody on a lathe too, or is that just from a store-bought spinner?
Yeah, it's made by my buddy John.
Oh yeah, I guess I met John the other day on your video, the DC 540 video.
Yep.
That's a heartbreaker.
Yeah, man. I had it on my shopping list too. I'm glad Sparky came out with that when he did, just in the nick of time.
I used it this year on all my airplanes and it worked great. And Naomi used it on hers too. It was great stuff.
Well, I'm going to go to the Napa store and look and see if they've got the kind that's got the right label on it with the.
I'm going probably tomorrow.
It's
See
got
what I can get of the old stock.
It's got to have the ketones and the xylene and
That's
something
right.
else, and magic marker is on the new ones where it says DC 540 too on those ones.
I got a phone call just a little while ago. How many cans of DC 540 you want? I got 22 cans. I said, I'll take them all.
No kidding.
And then we got to read, and he goes, oh, shit, he got the new stuff.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Nobody's going to want that.
Yeah, it don't sand, it don't dry, it don't cover.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty pathetic from what y'all showed on the video.
Unless we can find something else that looks like it's back to talcum powder and dope.
Well, I got another thing I'm gonna give a whirl. I like how Aviojet said, I don't like DC 540, it ain't worth a shit, blah, blah, blah.
Baloney.
Yeah.
That stuff's amazing. DC 540 is the best thing I've ever found in the hobby.
Yeah.
Well, let's say the best thing you ever found.
Took me 20 years to find it, and I kept asking me, you guys aren't going to quit making this, are you? Oh, no, it'll be this. We'll keep making it. And sure enough,
They quit. They changed it.
Yeah, probably California did.
You ever noticed anything that's ever good for our hobby goes away?
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing, and that goes for not just the hobby; it goes for even restaurants too. When we finally find one we really like, they go out of business.
Yeah.
I was in a hobby shop today and I was looking for some striping tape. And I had to ask the guy who runs the store where it is. He shows me, and he's only got like a few packages left. Luckily, he had the color and the width I wanted. And then he's like, "Well, I better check that for you. It's Goldberg striping tape. That's how long it's been
Wow.
sitting in the store." They haven't even made it for like how many years?
Yeah, 30 years probably. More than that.
This is the best tape for taping paint off. It's now $18 a roll.
Oh my God.
That's absurd.
That's gold.
They were whining about nitro. They can't find nitro. I found nitro, 65 bucks a gallon. I'm not going to get involved with that shit where everybody's in a panic about silk span, about balsa wood. I can get all the balsa wood I want, 4 to 6
I haven't
pounds.
had any trouble getting balsa. I just go to one of the balsa manufacturers and order it. It's not that big a deal.
Right, just got to pay for it.
Enough
You
of
want
them out
to
there. I mean,
And,
good fun don't come cheap.
right, silk span. Everybody's whining about silk span. You get all you want.
Yeah, and as long as doctor paper, it'll always be around. As long as that's there, we got something.
It works good too. I did a sample with it. It worked pretty good.
I'm surprised somebody didn't take credit for that. That's John's find, really.
No, it seems like good stuff. I tried some of the Brodak silk span, but it seemed really rough. Like it seemed like it needed a lot of coats of dope to fill.
No, this is Brodak silk span is on this. The ultra. I only use the free flight silk span, the super light,
Okay.
the super light silk span, and the
Okay, so not the medium.
no, I use the ultra light, and
Oh, and is it
it's half the weight.
awesome? Is it Brodak as well?
Yes,
Okay, I will pick some up when I'm down there.
and then I've went with the English Japanese tissue that I showed, and
Okay.
it's hard to work, harder to work with, but it's light and takes less coat.
Okay. Well, less coats is always better. I'm starting to learn how to finish a little lighter. It's not an easy thing to learn.
I still mostly use Ultra Coat because I just don't have the patience for tissue and dope.
I'm just getting started with it myself.
The thing is on dope painting is to learn management. You get mason jars. You get 1 quart of dope, and you fill a mason jar up with 1 quart of dope, and you pour half of that off into the other. So now you got 2 half quarts of dope, and you fill both of them up with thinner.
Same amount, right?
Same amount.
Yeah, 50-50. Okay. That's what I do.
One quart is for the bait, the substrate, and 1 quart is your top coat, and no more. And when you're out of dope, you're done. And you get 1/2 pint of color. That's it.
That's perfect.
But you're using spray gun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
You have to. You can't brush it.
I don't know. Maybe someday I'll try, but
I brush up until I get the silk span done in 1 coat. And then after that, I don't brush anymore.
Now, John's come up with a method that's going to even make it lighter. My finishes come out 6 to 8 ounces, depending on how much,
that's as competitive as you're going to get, probably.
This is a 6
Your
ounce.
finishes are amazing.
This is a 6 ounce finish on this, believe it or not. There's no paint on this.
And your finishes are amazing, all of them.
Just a lot of sanding. This, John and I were picking this apart. This is this airplane's 5 years old. We're picking this
Seminato?
apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't do enough sanding on this. I could have sanded another 2 weeks. You know, what are you gonna do?
Let's see this. There it is. It'll clear up. Yeah, we're looking at it right now. Pretty damn sharp still.
Oh, there's no it's like new. Look at the little pilot in there.
Yeah, well, you were saying you only had 40 flights on it, so yeah, it's basically a brand new airplane.
Yeah, see the pilot there?
Yeah.
What are you doing to it now? Are you changing it?
Yeah, I lightened it up and changed the balance on it.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, you were saying something about taking weight out of the nose.
I took 3 ounces out of the nose.
That's outstanding. Well, that spinner sure helped, I'm sure.
That took an ounce off. The tank took an ounce and a half off. The wheels took an ounce and a quarter off. So we got 3 ounces off the
Yeah. So hopefully you won't have to change the elevator now.
Right. You're gonna try that tomorrow, but if it doesn't perform like I want, I'll go ahead and saw them off and put new ones on it. Because I'm probably gonna fly this at the NAS.
So wait a minute, if you took 3 ounces off the nose, right?
Yeah.
What would be the detriment of if you had to, just to get it to balance, take part of that 3 ounces, maybe even a half an ounce, and stick it in the tail just to get it to fly right?
You don't understand. What happens, I made a mistake when I designed this airplane. Look at how big the flaps are, how much cord the flaps are. We got all this flap. These are windy flaps, huge. Then you
Yeah,
look
they
at
are big.
Then you look at the stabilizer. Let me see if I can get it in here. And it's thin. This should have been
Okay.
4 inches wide instead of 3 inches wide.
I see what you
It
see
looks,
what you mean. Yeah.
it looks aesthetically pleasing. But what happens
Right.
when you do that, even though my ratio is faster on the elevators, what happens when you have this situation, there's so much flap, the airplane pushes. You know, I watch airplanes
Okay.
how they fly. So the tail doesn't turn around the corner quick enough.
I see what you mean. I gotcha. Yeah, it's yeah, I see what you say.
So it won't
Yeah,
matter.
you need a bigger stab.
No, I don't need a bigger stab. I need bigger elevators.
Sorry, bigger elevators. That's what I meant. Bigger elevators.
The stabilizer is plenty big enough. The elevators need to have another 10 inches on the back.
Okay.
Hence the new ones. But I don't. If I can get away without doing it, I mean, I would rather.
Sure. You don't want to tear into a beautiful airplane if you don't have to.
Right. I mean, I can do it, no problem.
Okay.
Just a pain in the ass.
Have you already made the elevators for it? Oh wow.
Yeah. It's a matter of cutting 2 hinges off each side and drilling 2 holes and sticking them on. It's not just finishing them up. You know, it's not a big deal.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like you have to go in and pull the control horns and everything else. No, that's all right then.
No, it's these are my hinges that I use, the plywood hinges. It's got 2 hinges on the elevators. You just saw them off and then pull it off the horn. And then slide it on with 2 more hinges. No big.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Good stuff. Do you tape your hinge lines?
Never.
His are in little pockets that they fit in that keeps air from going through it.
Oh,
Well-
that's why you make those specific hinges for your planes. Okay.
Yeah, they're like a real airplane. You know, it's like a knuckle.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So basically, you're sealing it without taping it.
pretty much.
Well, if your airplane's light, you don't need all that seating business anyway.
Yeah, but the way it fits together, you're right. Lynn, it just fits together with no gap at all.
See this groove that's in the back of this stabilizer?
Yeah, my picture's a little fuzzy here, but yeah, I can barely see it.
Present me to him.
Okay, I got it presented. Let me present to everyone. Now everybody should have it big.
Okay, there's a groove in there. Let me see if you see how the cup is in it?
Yeah, now we
Yeah.
can see it pretty good, especially against your thumb where it gives it contrast.
Okay, so the front of the elevator fits into
Okay, now
that,
I see it.
and it doesn't matter where you.
Okay. That is awesome. What a great idea. That's much better than the old style. See, I'm still doing them the old way with you know, like the angles on it. And then there's a big gap all the time, and you either tape it
That's
or
what
leave
I
it.
do, but I've never really liked that. It doesn't look good either.
No, it doesn't.
One year I had my S6B Supermarine, and I was at the Nats, and Bob Wiley said, "You got to tape the hinge lines." So I taped the hinge lines and almost hit the ground. I said, "I'll never tape hinge lines again."
Oh. Well, the thing I find with the taped hinge lines is that the airplane makes a terrible noise. The controls feel stiffer. I just don't like it. I mean, I've done it, but I don't like it.
Well, they say that it makes it more consistent or whatever, but if your airplane's not 80 ounces, you don't need all that, you know? I don't think. But
Well,
what
my 90 ship was 80 ounces, and the taped hinge lines didn't make it a hell of a lot better.
I can't tell any difference.
It was just way too heavy. I'm going to take that airplane and strip it down with 2 gallons of acetone one day. I just haven't done it yet.
this airplane's 59 ounces right as it sits. That one over there,
Yeah, perfect. Where it should be.
59 ounces, but it doesn't have clear on it. It'll be 62. That one's 62, and the other one is 59.
That's
Yeah.
outstanding.
You got to stay in the realm of reality, not keep painting the crap out of them.
I seem to be having a bit of problems with dope bubbling in the fillets. Do you ever have that problem?
Used to until I discovered how not to. You
Okay.
don't paint the fillets.
Okay.
When
Until
you're-
the end?
No, ever. When you're spraying, you don't shoot the paint into the fillets. Let me explain how that works. You got
Okay.
your fillet like this in a curve. Let's see,
Right.
like this. Okay, you see that?
Yeah.
And you paint in there, and the dope gets in there, and when it dries, it shrinks and straightens up, and it lifts out or
And
bubbles.
it pulls.
It sure does.
Yeah.
So the trick is not to paint them. So you're painting along, and you just let the overspray go into the fillet. Don't flood that
Oh,
fillet.
only the overspray.
Right.
Okay.
If you flood that
That's
fillet,
brilliant.
and get any buildup in there at all, when it shrinks, it'll pull away or bubble.
That's what I've been having the problem with. Okay. Now I
Shine,
know. Thank you.
shine comes from sanding. I know that sounds crazy, but this airplane was sanded with
Not from paint.
Right. This airplane was sanded with 5,000 grit sandpaper. And that's how you get them
Wow.
to shine like this. There's only two
I've
courses.
never used anything over 1,000.
That's too coarse.
That's amazing. Okay, so I need finer paper, no spraying in the fillets. I'm learning, teaching me quickly. This is the express class.
I don't know if it's just me, but I've had more problem with red paint pulling up out of the fillet areas and around curves than any other color too. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if there's any reason to that.
It doesn't matter what color it is. It'll all pull out if you don't do it like I just told you.
Yeah. Yeah, I made a mess out of my twister like that, putting too much in the fillets.
I
And
saw
it would.
I saw on Stunthangar guys talking about using Minwax and base coat, clear coat, and Rust-Oleum. You know, that Aviojet talking about Rust-Oleum. You know, all that stuff, it may cover and look okay. And like the death paint, the urethanes, you know, they look okay, but they weigh so much. The reason why real airplanes use dope is that 50% of its weight gases off. And whatever you spray on in the enamels is what it weighs, because it doesn't gas off. The salt.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The weight's just the pigment and not much else.
So the new trick that we've discovered, John's thought up, is we're adding the color of the airplane to the clear dope. Mix your clear dope up, and in your substrate, you know, the first quart of clear you're using, you're going to paint your airplane white. Take 2 tablespoons of white paint and put into the clear, and it kind of makes it milky. And the first coat, you can't tell.
That's a great idea. That way you need less color.
Right. It gets, you know, lighter and lighter and lighter. Or if you're going to paint it red, put 2 reds in it, and then, you know, that way.
Yeah, because you're already adding some color to it. Yeah, so that you don't need as much later.
As long as you're not going over it with primer.
Well, whatever.
The primer, then it didn't do you any good.
This is way after the primer step where Sparky's talking about.
Yeah.
There's no more DC 540, so don't have to worry about that. But I got another way I'm gonna do it. I want to test it before I make any recommendations.
Do you have any of the Brodak primer?
Yeah, I was pretty upset today when I saw your video about the DC 540.
Brodak primer is crap.
Yeah, I found that out, and it's heavy too.
Well, you got to thin it way out. About 80% thinner, 20% primer. It'll go on and dry fairly fast.
It's rubber though. It's rubbery, and I don't want that. I want something that powders off quick. And the only way that you're going to get that is xylene.
Well, mix xylene in with the primer.
No, it's not formulated for that.
I tried the Brodak primer on my nighty ship. I'll never use it again, ever.
No,
way too heavy, and it found it way too heavy, and it wouldn't dry.
Yeah, I tried it one time, and you know, Brodak paint is Randolph. It's made by Randolph, but there's some proprietary chemical in the Brodak paint that makes it smell different and makes it act different. Not only that, there's half as much pigment. It'll take you a full quart of white paint to paint an airplane, where it takes me a half a pint with Randolph.
Okay. Wow.
You know,
that's a big difference.
If you remember watching Wendy tape, Wendy would always decant his paint, and what that does is take off
paint, most definitely.
Right. Well, you don't have to with Randolph because it has more pigment. The bad thing about decanting is it makes everything like chalk because there's no binder left in it. You poured it all out. So that's bad.
That makes sense.
Painting is a chemistry experiment, and if you don't follow the directions or from the guys who designed it, it's really kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah. I think you do a little better than Wendy did when it comes to weights, though, too. Wendy's planes were pretty heavy.
Wendy is a painter. He is a good painter, but he really lays the paint. If you watch him, he goes.
Oh, yeah, he really lays it in.
That's one
He
coat.
used to really lay it on. His idea of one coat was like most people's 2 or 3 coats.
10 coats. But his airplanes are nice looking.
Most definitely.
I'll tell you what, after working 16 years in a paint factory, I don't give a shit if you use epoxy.
He won enough concourse awards.
Titanium dioxide weighs the same in all the carriers. When we made paint, the resins were called carriers. It
Right.
carried pigment. And it doesn't matter what kind of carrier you use, a mil of white paint weighs within hundreds of grams of anything else. We test day after day after day. And the
So
only
you're
carriers.
telling me that urethane white weighs as much as dope white.
Yep, exactly.
Because dope gas is 50% off. All the urethane stays there.
The solids weigh the same.
Well, yeah, okay.
And so if you use high solids paint, you need less of it. People put it on too heavy.
Right.
But once it's cured, if you say take a quart of dope and let all the thinner, and we stuck it in ovens, we baked it all out. And then we had what was left, and we knew what the solids weighed. If you have cured epoxy, that if you have an ounce, once you cured it, sets at an ounce of lacquer dried out and an ounce of epoxy cured weighs within hundreds of grams of each other.
Well, which one weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of sand?
Right, it all weighs the same. So it depends on how you put it on. Dope, what we call lacquer paint, there's no difference hardly at all in that weight over epoxy, over urethanes. It's just how much you put on. And we used to have gauges. We'd measure how much you'd put on, how much you had to thin it to get it on thin. Thicker paint is hard to put on thin. That's the problem with it.
Hey,
it's hard to
Sparky,
thin down because it's a high solids, and you add too much thinner to it.
tell Rusty I'm going to go out and come back in because I can't hear anybody but you.
Okay.
My microphone's gone muted like it did the other night. There's nothing.
Okay.
Right.
We'll hang out.
Oh, there. Now I got you again.
The thing with dope is
That's because Steve is talking. Only one person can talk at a time.
Oh.
This is not,
Yeah.
where we can all
But
talk.
I can't hear him. But if I go out and come back in, I should be able to hear him.
Okay.
the deal with dope or lacquer is you can put it on so thin, you can control your thickness better. Is where it all comes to.
They were asking me about a light finish, and the only way you can get a light finish is with sandpaper, because you can't use paint. Paint is the heaviest thing on the airplane.
Oh yeah, the pigments in it.
Well, there's so much surface area.
Yeah.
This airplane has a 6-ounce finish. Well, this 6-ounce finish, anybody else would do in 16 ounces, because they keep painting instead of sanding. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
To fill, instead of, now Ron O'Toole told me back in the 50s how they used to finish their airplanes was with clear dope only, no tissue, none of that stuff. And we're gonna try it. But they would paint the first coat of clear on 100%, and then let it dry real good, then block it, and it would raise the grain. Then paint the second coat of clear on and block it, and the grain would raise, and they'd fill all those hills and valleys. And on the final coat, when they sanded it, it would just frost over, and then they would spray a light coat of color on it, and that's it, and then polish it out.
Who's got a TV or radio going in the background?
Probably mine.
Please turn it off.
Is that better?
Yeah, much.
I
Thank
got
you.
it completely muted.
Yeah.
I don't know
It's working better
what it
for
is
me
about
too.
this front room. This corner really picks up sound.
Yeah, that's a lot
Hey,
better.
Steve.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, how you doing?
That's crazy. You got to sign off every time someone signs in so you can hear them.
Oh, exactly. Otherwise, I can't hear them.
I can't even guess what that might be, but it was doing that the other night to you.
Canada's
That's
in
fine
trouble.
now.
They're sending all their trash to the Philippines. That's what the problem is.
Canada's always in trouble.
Philippines is going to declare war on Canada. Did you know that, Len?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Philippine president is going to declare war on you guys if you don't quit sending your garbage to the Philippines.
Wow.
All your trash is ending up in Manila.
They
Well, I got to do something with all my. I got to do something with all my DC 540 sandpaper.
They say it's diapers.
Oh,
Oh, great.
shoot.
That's disgusting.
Well,
They
that's
sure-
pretty shitty.
They showed pictures of it. It's on the dock, and the waves were crashing over and pushing the diapers off into the street. It's terrible.
Them Canadian babies must use a lot of diapers.
Oh my gosh.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of it, like Indonesia and everything takes a lot of trash from California and all that. They send it over in barge loads.
Yep, that's what they're doing. Well, anyway,
Okay.
that's the story. I'm going to try some Wix primer. It's UV blocker. We're going to go with all Randolph stuff and see how that works. And if it's heavy, I won't use it at all. We'll just use, the other airplanes don't have any primer on them at all. It's a bumper.
And find out what primer they're making for John and see what they could do for, different thinners or whatever in it.
It's not the thinners in John's primer. It's the zinc stearate. I don't like zinc stearate because when you sand it, it makes your hands oily, and it makes it rubbery, just like John's primer. And that stuff is rock. It's like a Jimson. I might just go to cornstarch or something like that.
If you pick up a can of John's primer and a can of John's paint, the primer is almost twice as heavy. It's unbelievable. It's so heavy.
Yeah, it's so thick though. You try to stir one and stir the other. There's hardly any thinner in John's primer. You're getting like fucking 90% primer, maybe 10% thinner in that. You're getting a lot of vehicle and not a lot of thinner. But the lightest thing there is for a filler is flume silica. There's nothing lighter on the market that will fill or thicken or whatever.
I bet if I could go back to when I was building half-A planes and spraying Rust-Oleum on them, if I did a weight comparison before and after paint, my half-A planes would have probably 3 times more paint on them than Sparky's Monado does. I didn't know any better.
It probably had more weight in paint than it did balsa wood.
Probably did. I really laid it on too, trying to get that glassy finish. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I'm glad I know now.
I've been at it for almost 40 years and still couldn't do it even 2 years ago. I made a hell of a mess. I put so much paint on that 90 ship. The thing weighs 88 ounces.
Well, the one thing, and everybody likes that fillet material, that super fill. All that is
Super fill?
super fill. Everybody likes it because it's so light.
I like it. It's good stuff.
It's just epoxy and flume silica. That's all
Really?
that, and that's why it's so light, because flume silica is so light.
You think it's lighter than micro balloons?
Oh, tons.
I've always used micro balloons mixed with epoxy, but I guess you could probably mix it with, I don't know if you could mix it with dope or just, I mean, like clear dope or something. I don't know.
Well, back in the day, a 50-pound sack of pigment or titanium dioxide or whatever was in a sack about so big by so big by so big. I weighed 50 pounds. Flume silica was 4 foot tall and about 16 inches round. And the whole damn thing weighed like 3 pounds. It was a huge.
Wow.
We used to throw them back and forth they were lighter than a volleyball. We'd whack them back and forth and mess with them and stuff like that. That's how light flume silica is. And how they get it all in that bag, I have no idea. Because when you cut it, it expands out probably 20 times the size of the bag. It's crazy stuff, but it's the lightest pigment there is. But basically, we used it for sag. If you don't want paint to sag, you put flume silica in it.
If you don't want paint to sag, don't paint so much. Don't put so much paint on it.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to have so much paint, and especially red will sag easy. But use flume silica, and it'll take the sag out of that stuff.
Oh, guys, I gotta go to
I
bed.
like.
All right.
Okay, Spark.
All right, Sparky. Good talking to you.
All right. See ya.
Oh, I will not
See ya.
be here Friday, by the way. I'll be in Huntersville Friday, so I won't be hosting a show Friday night.
Okay.
No.
See ya.
Good
Bye.
night. I figured I'd throw that in before Sparky left, just so he'd remember. So,
We're hoping to go to Huntersville in a couple of years. Hopefully it'll still be going.
Got the fuselage done. My vector profile. Weight
It's good.
7.25 ounces. I don't know if that's good, bad, or whatever.
and so,
Pretty
yeah,
good.
hold it up. Let me look again and click on it so the YouTubers can see it. And behind the wing, you've got, it's hollow in there except for the braces that you built in, right?
Yep. And it's just sheeted with 1/64.
Nice.
Fly?
Yeah. Yep. And then 32nd on the front here.
Perfect.
But it's nice and stiff. We'll see how it works. It seems to be light. I mean, and I don't know what a piece of 64th birch costs now. I used a 2 foot by.
It's really expensive.
I bought it at a swap meet for $1 a sheet. So, but I don't know
You
what.
stole it.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, I think it cost about $25 if you got a 24-inch sheet at the store.
Yeah, that
like,
sounds about right. That's more like it.
yeah.
This was 2 foot by 1 foot by 2 foot pieces.
I don't know. 2 by 2. I don't know if it's square or rectangular. It could be 24 by 36 or something like this. Oh, Tryon's out here. Let me let Tryon in. And there we go. Good evening, Tryon.
Good evening to you.
You have a good
Of course, I
weekend?
can't hear him.
Oh, really?
Pretty good.
Well, he hadn't said much yet, but we talked for about 45 minutes or so after you guys left on Friday night and had a good little chat.
Two crazy guys talking at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
They're absolutely nuts.
Territory. We talked about space stuff and science stuff and school and molding and covered some pretty good territory for those that could hang in over on YouTube. There was about 10 or 12 people watching us out there.
Yeah, I think Brian and Samantha got the same teachers it seems like every night or the same nights they have to turn in homework and tests and all this kind of stuff online now.
Yeah, I have one more exam that hopefully this one actually is not proctored exam, so I can take it at home, which is nice always. I can use my resources here to do the exam.
Yeah,
Yay.
I think you should be
And
able
I'm
to
done.
anyway, because part of the skills that you take to business after you graduate is knowing where to find the information.
Mm-hmm.
Google.
Yeah.
There's some good science Wikipedia pages that are tracked closely by people in the industry that make sure the information is correct.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and that's that's good.
I used to have 2 milk crates in my van I carried with me with sheets on different controllers and thermostats and anything you can think of that we had to have, I had in them damn milk crates. Now, all I do is just Google it on my phone and I can read off all them. I still have 1 milk crate left in the damn garage with shit in it, but it's going in the burn barrel. Because it's all online now. I mean, it's so much easier to get it than it is to, for these pool dehumidifiers. I got like 4 binders that are that thick on them stupid things because they did so many changes over the years and so many different ways to do it. And now it's like you just type in the model number and serial number, and it'll go right and give you the stuff you need. It ain't flipping through it and everything else with these Dectron units that are made in Canada.
Steve, I was
Got to do something in Canada.
I got up there. And every time you call, you get someone that speaks French. And it's like, geez, make these damn in the English part of Canada.
Andy's planes just checked in.
You're calling the wrong people.
Andy's planes just checked in. Y'all know, anybody know Andy?
No.
Andy's planes. Good evening, Andy. On YouTube.
Dorn, what would it cost to have a blueprint for a fuselage drawn and stuff for a printer?
you need a CAD file for that.
Yeah. What would someone charge to do a CAD file on something like that? Do you have any idea?
It all depends who you hire. And what, it's like how much time you have, because if you give them some kind of dimensions and stuff like that, it's a lot of work to do it. So I have a file for a 40 size. What size plane do you want to have?
This is going to be for a 40 size.
Yeah, I have a nice file for a 40 size already. If you want to take a look at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's my own design. I was fooling around with it. So it's not something that's peer approved.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is that I don't know if you ever seen the Caprice by Bob Hunt.
Sounds familiar.
We want to try to make a plug on that. I was talking to Jeff Trexler today. He was going to try to sand one by hand like he did his other one.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to print it out and do it that way. So we can wrap it with, he's got a way to, he uses 16th inch balsa laid out on 45s and puts it in with like Gorilla Glue, wraps it, and then he has a keel on the for it, and everything fits around that keel, and all the heads are built in and stuff like that when it glues up to that keel, and they turn out pretty nice. So we're gonna try to do one. He was gonna try to, sand one out, but he's got such bad, his back is so bad and his neck that he just can't sand or do anything.
Well, Steve, what I would do, first of all, printed works nice and works okay for off of the CAD files. It's not exactly super accurate, but it's decent. And you are probably gonna pay a lot of money for that printing material, which is very expensive. So it's going to be rolls after rolls. I mean, imagine the volume of stuff that you have to do over there. And the bigger the parts, the more time they take. So you're looking at every single piece you're making in there is going to take probably overnight to be made, assuming nothing else happens and you're super lucky that everything runs perfect. On the other hand, probably just cutting some formers out of plywood, glue them on top of something with foam in between them, and then put some balsa wood on top of it will make a quick buck and stuff like that. And you don't really care about the weight. You can just pile it in some layers, fiberglass, build it up a little bit thickness, sand it off, and you're done. And that's a very decent mold and stuff like that. If you print it, you have to finish it anyways. You have to add something on top of it. Probably going to have to join all those parts together. Then every joint is going to introduce some error as you move down the line, right? Because I'm assuming probably going to do vertical slices through the fuselage, and you're going to patch them up nose to tail to make the fuselage. Best guess,
Yeah.
So I've got a question about CAD. Is CAD? Is that just a ubiquitous acronym for computer assisted design that can cover any number of architectural programs, or is there one standard file and one standard program that everybody uses for computer automated design?
CAD is an acronym for what you just said, and there are different CAD programs that do CAD for you. Okay. So you can have CAD programs that are free to CAD programs that are tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah. So tens of thousands of dollars worth of software.
And they all save to different file types, or?
Yes, some of them have different file types. So you have Creo, which is the new Pro Engineer. Used to be Pro Engineer. You have CATIA. You have Unigraphics. You have SolidWorks. Almost every CAM package. CAM is short for computer aided machining. So if you have a package that's CAD CAM, means it has the computer aided design and the computer aided machining built into it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, but you have either one or the other. And if you do computer aided machining, then what you do, you take the CAD files and you import them into your machining environment, and you use that file to create a cutter path and whatever. Right. So that's pretty much in short what CAD is.
Yeah.
You have AutoCAD, you have Rhino, you have CATIA, Unigraphics, Creo, you have SolidWorks. SolidWorks is pretty popular nowadays, by the way.
Okay.
And these are all different programs that all do CAD. But if you look from program to program, to draw a line, you still need 2 points and you connect them.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Okay.
Right?
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah. It's a matter of like from transitioning from one program to the next, it's kind of like getting used to the menus, because there's different menus, different, things that are built into them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've got a YouTube update. Andy's Planes and More just gave us a mini bio. He says he flies in the club. His name's Andy Saunders, and he flies in the club that Byron Barker, Ken Grasser both used to fly in, the Skyliners in Southern Indiana. So Andy
Sounds
Saunders,
familiar.
that's who Andy's Planes and More is him.
Mhm.
So he's watching
Mhm.
us now.
Yeah.
And let's see, David Phelps from the Raleigh, Durham area is in here watching us too. He dropped in a few minutes ago. So I'm going to see him in Huntersville.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some kind of CAD program at work that works off a blueprint when they draw the plans. It will actually draw out where the piping has to go, the ductwork, plumbing, electrical, all this kind of stuff. They set a thing in a corner of the building, sends off some kind of frequency. I don't know if it's a laser frequency, whatever. But then when they do hangers on the drill that drills the hole in the cement, ceilings, floors, whatever, will beep and let you know exactly where the hanger has to be for your stuff. Put in all the hangers, hangs it all. It's all drawn. It's all built in the shop for certain 10 foot. And there's an elbow, and 1 foot, and there's a T, and then this and that. And the CAD does it all. It's crazy how. And you better stay in your little area, because you can't get over in other people's areas anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It did evolve quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. How they link that CAD to all kinds of stuff now. It's neat how they do it.
I have a joke for Andy. That's like a little kid is being asked, "What's God's name?" and says, "Andy." What do you mean, Andy? I said, "Well, Bible always says Andy, he did that, and Andy did this, and Andy did that."
But yeah, yesterday over there, we printed out a little dog, and it did such a nice job that if you wanted to paint it, you wouldn't even have to sand it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this thing is in light. It was all honeycombed on the inside, and you can adjust how much honeycomb you want. You want like 95%, and the skin real thin or thick or whatever. So that's why we're thinking if we built that mold or that plug, that most of it could be all honeycombed in there, and it wouldn't use that much material.
Yeah, but it still takes a lot of time. I remember when I was trying to print something for my little battle bot, which is just a small piece about 4 inches by 4 inches by 1 inch tall, and
Yeah.
it's just like you say. It just has a little bit of a frame built into it, because all I had just a few thin walls in there. It took over a day.
Yeah.
And we started in.
I know it'll take a long time, but you don't have to be there with it.
Yeah.
You can work, and it can be printing. You can be sleeping, and it can be printing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, what can I say? Just give it a try, see what you think about it. But if I was in your place, I would just, in a day you can already have just something already made, with just plain plywood formers, some foam, and a piece of balsa on top of it. Then you can probably just blend it in a little bit, sand it off, put a layer of fiberglass, and you already have the mold there. You're done. But it's up to you. It's like, yeah, if you wanna do that, you're gonna spend a lot of time. And is it worth it? Because you're gonna have to spend a lot of time in the CAD package. CAD kind of saves you time if you want to machine something and you want to be super precise. and whatever time you put in, like normally building a plane, if you know what you're doing and you're very fast, keyword very fast, and you know what you're doing, you can probably break even with about the time it takes someone to build a plane. But when I did my project, it took me a few years just to do the CAD, get the CAD files correct. And then I kind of put it on the side. And when I start working on it, before I start working on it, I mean, I did have my first post on a Revolution. So I'm not sure when it was, November sometime. But before that, I spent a few good months just prepping for it, searching for materials, searching for this, for that, programming the machine, get everything up and running. I mean, just to make sure, fine-tuning the CAD files, make sure everything assembles, double checking everything, and it's just a lot of work over there just in doing that. So when I started, at the time when I started, I was ready to hit the ground running because I had my programs ready to go. And even with that, I still screwed up and I made some mistakes, which had to be corrected later on. So it's, I mean, you are just you're asking for it. So I mean, but it's a good learning experience. I mean, if that's what you want to do and you want to learn about it and have fun with it, I mean, just like this, it's a huge stuff that you're taking on, right?
Yeah, the what I found out is that on these molds, the left one and the right one are always different. They're never exactly the same. If you're sanding them out, and unless you have a template to lay over it to make sure that everything's perfect there. One's a little bit thinner, one side's a little bit thicker. The round, if you're rounding the fuselages, that ain't always, you can sight down and see all the differences in it.
Yeah. Well, it all depends which approach you take. I mean, if you have a big block of balsa and you start hacking it off and making the stuff, yeah, I think you're gonna have some of that. Yes, absolutely right. I don't say no to it. But I think if you go with the formers, it's easy to make duplicate formers. They're just about identical. And it's pretty easy to make a spine, for example, for like a side view of the fuselage. You make two of them at a time, right?
Yeah.
And you can put them together. And now, as long as you put your formers exactly mirror image from each other on that double spine, right? Then when you put this back together as the two halves, and this is kind of the trick here, right? So you make the two halves separate, but you still bring them back together and you blend them in at the same time to get the parting line perfect, right? And then you lay up your fiberglass, do them separate, stuff like that. Again, you bring them together and you just blend them in and stuff like this. So now they're perfectly aligned. And use those two holes, the two holes that you align the two halves always at a time, always. Use the same two holes to put them on a block of something like MDF when you make your mold, right? So that's kind of how you align them. And next, when you make the molds and you pull them apart, you have your pinholes that align the two halves, and they're just perfect, kind of thing. So, but I think you're gonna have maybe less than a 64th of an inch difference between left to right. I mean, how many of us can measure 64th of an inch and see it? Please. Yeah. I would just, now there's another technique what I used to do. When I was making stuff out of just a plain block of balsa, in order to make the left and the right the same, what I would do something like, here, just let me grab a pen, something. Okay, so let me see, is that close? About there, yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna present here. Okay, so you have your block. So you start with your block, right?
Yeah.
Now you measure say equal. Just you measure your corners, right? And you measure them equal left and right. So now you cut this out. See that?
Yeah.
Now you measure again, like this. And now you cut this out. And as long as you measure the same left and right, should be pretty close.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So you work progressively to your finish answer, right?
Okay.
So that's that. And as long as you do the same thing to both sides and measure in the same way, not a problem. Should be pretty equal, pretty close.
Okay.
If you just gamble on kind of like, oh, it kind of looks right or something like that, not gonna be the same. But you know what? You can take there are a lot of programs out there that's going to draw you an ellipse, for example. And that's pretty much what you want to have. So what you do is you have a top view. You have your side view, right?
Okay. You got a shine on the paper right now.
Let me click that up. Yeah, that's good view.
Okay. So now what you do, you have your cross sections. If you have your cross sections, wherever you want to, right?
Yeah.
So now you can measure. You measure this. You measure that. And you just build your ellipse. And just go again at it. And this is the actual width you have here, right?
Yeah.
And just keep going. Another one, another one, another one. And it all depends what kind of a distance you have here and what kind of distance here. Just build ellipse after ellipse. And all of this stuff can be easily put on something and filled in and blended in, call it a day. Done deal. Piece of cake. And actually, if you do CAD, you kind of do the same thing. Because in CAD, you probably build all of those ellipses. And after you build the ellipses and put them in position, you create a surface off of them.
Oh, okay.
So it's as simple as that. I mean, you can easily draw an ellipse. And just don't take a rocket scientist for that one.
All right.
So yeah. So and actually this is kind of cool because whatever profile of your plane you have and whatever the top view you have, you can always build it like this with ellipses, front to tail. And those are very strong. They're very stiff fuselages. You don't need any structure inside of it. Actually, if you were to do this, you can actually use it for a wood built-up plane very easily. You just make the plug out of foam and formers, and after that you cover it with some saran wrap, for example, and you put the saran wrap on top of your plug, and get your balsa wood 2 layers. You laminate them on top of each other with Elmer's wood glue. After you just, what I did, I put them in water, and then I took one of them, I just stick them like that to the side of the tub, the bathtub, right? And I took Elmer's wood glue, I put Elmer's wood glue and smear it on top of it. I took the second one and just put it right on top of it. And then with Ace Band-Aids, you put them on top of this mold. Piece of cake. And you make it extra long, right? So next day, what you do, you take an X-Acto knife, you just cut it to the parting line. Just walk it around. You put, you just walk it around the mold. And you cut the parting line and take the 2 halves and just join them together. And before you join them, if you want to, you can put some reinforcements in the nose, like something over there. Super light, super strong. You don't need formers, don't need none of that.
Okay.
Then it's just 2 layers of 1/16. I mean, that's super light. But you know, options are there. I mean, there are so many options, and you know, you can do it so many different ways. I mean, probably every single one of us has a different idea of how to do that, and you know, probably everybody is watching us on YouTube is gonna go like, "Hey, I have an idea too." So, you know, it's just
Yeah, there's different ways to try things. So,
of course, you learn, always learn something. Worst case scenario, you learn something.
yeah. So yeah, we're gonna try to get a 40 size airplane under 40 ounces. Or what is it? 42
Mm-hmm.
and 12 thousandths lines.
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah. Oh, I showed this earlier, but I talked to Tom Morris. Each one of these front, if you order one from them and you have a certain motor that you want to go in it, you got to let him know, because these are built for each motor. That little step in there in the curve, that matches, this one matches a Cobra, and that holds it from moving or distorting or whatever on that the outside ring on that case, or
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't spin.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I didn't know that when I just told him send me one. But yeah, you order, if you're gonna get one of them from, or Dennis's nephew there, he makes them right for a motor, so it's a perfect fit when you tighten them in place.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let everybody know that.
Yeah, you were kind of wondering what to do with that the other night, I think.
Doesn't vibrate or move or any, you can't. So that was an idea they came up with. They said it works really nice. But he says he can make them for any motor. He's got all that, you know, if you wanted to use the arrow wind, he's automatically got this shape in this program, and he can do that shape. So that when that comes in, it sets it in there.
Mm-hmm.
The screws. So, but just let somebody know. I had no idea that I should have said, "Hey, send me one for the arrow wind."
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like we're going to get some good weather here Saturday and Sunday, Dick.
That's what it looks like.
Your back feeling any better?
It only takes me 5 minutes to get out of bed instead of 15.
A little warm weather will do wonders for that too, I hope. If it ever gets warm there.
Yeah.
I went through the bad back thing at Christmas time. Not
Wow.
fun. I renovated half my basement. We have a new house here, and I renovated half my basement between September and December. And by the time I was done, my back was just shot.
It's a bitch getting old.
So then I spent the whole winter sitting in the shop building airplanes.
Is that the upside of having a bad back?
Yeah.
But I'm getting work done on airplanes anyway, so.
Yeah. Once you get set in a chair in front of the bench, you can't get back up, huh?
Yeah.
There, do stuff.
It's worse when I got to go out to the shop, so.
Yeah. I wanted to see the fuselage of that Scorpion. What the hell?
Oh, the dagger?
The dagger, but I don't want you to get up and.
It's not bad. It's getting up in the computer chair is easy. It's getting out of the recliner that's a bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to back mine up against my desk so it doesn't roll away from me while I'm pushing up on it.
Yeah, it's in all framed up. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you got the motor already mounted and
Yeah, the holes are all drilled. And the bottom's on it. 4.5 ounce tank will fit in it real nice.
oh, okay.
Is that all the fuel you're gonna use?
Stalker 51, they only burn about 3.5 ounces for a stunt run.
That's incredible.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, John Paris, with his broke in, says he uses 3.25 ounces in his 51 stalker, and he uses 3 1/8 in his 35.
Back in the days of the
Eighth of a
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're real fuel misers. They don't turn a lot of RPM, but they swing a big prop. We're running a 12.6 on the 51.
wow.
And that's a lot of prop.
Mind you, I run a 12.6 on my Tiger 51, and it runs fine
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I don't know why them things use such when they're new. That's not the case.
No, they burn a lot when they're new.
Yeah, they'll go through 4.5
Oh, yeah.
ounces, and then they
No,
just start.
I know.
Yeah, what was Pat? He was using what 4 3/4 of an ounce, and now he's down to about 4 ounces,
Yeah. It's
half a gallon since he's been
If we
flying.
put a 5 ounce tank on that, now we're only putting 4 ounces in it. Before it'd take damn near a full tank to run a pattern.
Yeah, they keep cutting. Yeah, they'll keep cutting back.
Yeah.
That's how you know they're fully broke in.
Yeah, the fuel consumption just keeps dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a new one going in my new Cardinal, but I think I'll maybe run it for the first while on my old one of my older ones.
Made up the. There you go. That's a weight box for the wing.
Oh, oh, that's right. That's how you.
I turn them out of a wood dowel. They work slicker than all get out. 3/10 of an ounce. I hate gluing them.
Wow.
I would
What do you
think.
put in it? BBs or something?
No, I just cut brass discs and drop them in there.
Yeah, gluing those little boxes together is a pain in
Yeah,
the
so I
butt.
just turn these little buggers up out on the lathe.
Yeah, they're.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. They drop them in.
Yeah, and when you drill in the hole, it makes the bottom tapered, so the bolt always drops right in the right spot. You ain't got to try to figure out where the damn threaded
Oh,
nut.
that's nice. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It's always a pain in the ass. Where this, it just drops right in where it belongs.
That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's like everybody with weight boxes. They built. Well, mine only weighs 1/4 of an ounce, but you make it big enough to stick in an ounce and 1/4 of lead. Weighing 1/2 ounce doesn't really matter.
So true.
Because this plane, I'll probably put a 1/2 ounce permanent in the wingtip because it won't weigh now. This only weighs 3/10 of an ounce. And it'll hold about,
It's kind of like the guy.
you can get maybe an ounce in it if you really work at it.
It's like the guy who carved his outboard wingtip to within 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and then he puts 2 ounces of wingtip weight in the wing.
Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow I'll get after the wing and do the controls and that kind of crap and join the wing halves. Right, the tail
Awesome.
feathers on this that Jaguar, the stab's 28 inches wide. It's huge.
No shit.
Yeah, 28 inches. And it's
That's a
500,
big stab.
585 square inches is the wings, I grab the
Is
stab.
that the wings in behind you?
Yeah. Home course. It's a Dixon model,
That's awesome. What's it
a
called?
Jaguar or a Dagger.
Okay.
It looks
Oh, Dagger. Okay.
it looks like a stiletto, but he calls it a
All right.
Dagger.
Okay.
It's a time machine wing, you know, and then he makes a full fuselage for it. It's quick build. It's a real simple box fuselage.
Well, if it flies anything like a stiletto, it'll be a good flyer. I have a stiletto. I really like it.
Because it's the same wing cores as that 50 size plane I built with a time machine. But I built my own fuselage. I use 13 millimeter carbon fiber tubing routed into the top and bottom of the fuselage, and it's just as stiff as a full body.
Wow.
13
I was
millimeter
thinking,
carbon
you were talking about that fuselage.
It's overkill, man.
Pardon?
13 millimeter carbon fiber tubing, it's overkill.
Not really. You know, the fuselage weighed 8.5 ounces.
Still, it's way too much carbon for what you need. I mean, you can put a lot less. The carbon goes a long way.
Yeah, this is just a 13 millimeter diameter. You know, it's a 1 millimeter thick tube, top and bottom.
Yeah.
And it makes the fuselage extremely stiff. I mean, you can't move the back end of it.
You can achieve the same thing with a fraction of the weight.
Probably.
It's like Easy Composites has this 100 gram per square meter material unidirectional that you can cut strips out of it. It's very thin. It's about 0.004 of an inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
And it costs about $15 for a square meter plus some shipping, right? So, and out of a square meter, you can just cut strips and put them inside the fuselage wherever you want to stiffen things up, cross braces, whatever, it really doesn't
Rusty,
matter.
I'm going to go out and come back in. There's new people.
Okay, yeah. Hook up with their sound so you can hear what it's like.
Yeah.
Hey, Charles, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm waiting for my computer to boot up. It's been booting for like 10 minutes.
What it do is try to decide to update or something?
I don't know what's going on, so I came in on my phone. Hopefully it'll hold up for a while.
I bought
Yeah, I usually try to reboot mine about a half hour before it's showtime. That way I'll know it's up and ready when I start the show. The last thing I want to do is have a blip and have to go through updates during the show.
What's really crazy is on my phone, Stunthangar keeps calling me, wants me to come into this. Yeah, the phone keeps going off, and it's did about 4 times now.
Oh, what, your Hangouts notification?
No, it's actually Google, the Google whatever that we get on here.
Yeah, that's Google Hangouts.
Yeah, Google Hangouts keeps calling me and trying to get me to go on the phone and log in. Had that happen before.
Well, get on with it.
I have enough problems doing it on the computer.
Yeah. So if you guys want to use that, I think it's a absolute good tip for you guys to use that unidirectional carbon. It's inexpensive. It's $15 a square meter. You can use it anywhere you want to. A little bit of 3M77, and you just put it in position. It's gonna stay wherever you put it, and then you hit it with thin CA, and thin CA is gonna penetrate through it, bite into the wood, and it's gonna stay there. And it weighs nothing. It weighs nothing. I mean, you from a normal build up, you almost like never added any weight to anything.
Yeah, because doing the fuselage with the tubing, I use 4 to 6 pound 1/2 inch balsa, super light stuff, and just route a slot in it, and it takes a minimal epoxy to glue it in. You don't really, like you say, Steve, them fiberglass fuselages, the one I put the tubes in, they weigh 8.5 ounces is all they weigh.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it, and it's an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
I just built up one to see how much weight I'd save or how much you really save on, where you have the tube in there. It'd be cool if you could get a thinner walled tube, but you get what you can get that fits for what you do.
Well, because this tubing is 12 millimeter OD or 13 millimeter OD and 12 millimeter ID. So it's really thin stuff. It's expensive. That's the only problem. But Craig bought a whole bunch of it, and I bought some of it and gave him some. And well, he's got that 60 powered thing with a Stalker 61 on it with a 1-inch diameter tube for a fuselage. Goes right through the center of the wing, and it flies great.
That's great. Yeah. Well, you got that Bumblebee the same way, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just a 1-inch square tube. Because that thing hit the pavement last year down at Kalamazoo. It busted the LA-46 in 4 pieces. Never hurt the airplane. But the motor was laying all over the concrete.
I don't think I've ever busted a motor as bad as some of you guys have.
Yeah, this LA-46 was in 4 chunks. But it's weird. Piston and liner didn't hurt. I ordered a new case, and it's back running again.
Sometimes it might be a good idea to use softer metal screws to mount your engine, so they're kind of sacrificial, and it'll let the engine depart before it breaks the tabs off and everything.
Yeah, well, this one, it crushed it.
Yeah, it just drove the crank right out the backside.
Good.
But nothing internal was basically hurt. The rod bent a little bit, but that was simple to straighten the rod. I did that. That was 5 minutes to straighten the rod, but the piston and liner never got hurt. One ear of the back plate got busted off, but that don't bother me because I O-ring the back plates anyway, so I don't even care if there's any 1 screw, 2 screws is all it needs in the back.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about flying on pavement or concrete.
Yeah.
Flying on pavement and concrete's okay. It's crashing on it that's no good.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, it's wonderful for takeoffs and landings. Other than that, I can't think of any advantage to it except for
bad news with the whack one.
Now, if somebody would maintain it like they do at Triple Tree, you could have grass like golf course greens, and it's just as good as pavement for rolling takeoffs and landings.
For sure.
I've used some good landings at Triple Tree. You can come in really hot and touch down, and the grass gives it a braking action, so it'll slow down a little bit, so you can come in really cooking and still grease a nice landing.
Yeah.
Well, they must have those circles rolled almost like golf greens.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, that grass is a 1/4 inch tall.
Oh, well, it's just like pavement except softer.
Yeah, we had a RC field that Corps engineers practiced at wastewater in Muskegon, and they bring their stuff over, and they had to practice making airfields and stuff like this. So they would roll our field and do stuff, and we could cut it really thin. It was super flat, but after they got done rolling it, it was so hard when you crashed on it. You crashed on it. It was like almost crashing on asphalt. There was just no give to that damn ground.
No give to it.
It was hard as a rock. But it was flat. Everybody's like, man, this thing is so flat and everything. And they come out there and grade it and roll it, and seed it, and for practice. And we had a beautiful runway out there.
Say, Charles, are you
That's awesome.
did you get any flying done this weekend?
Yeah, I went to the Palmer Memorial Contest.
How'd that go?
Went nice. I had a great time. There was Dennis and Steve was there, as well as I met Jeff Riley, one of the guys who always are watching us, and that was pretty neat. I'm a little
Cool.
disappointed in the outcome for me personally. I mean, I took fourth place. There's actually 6 of us that competed in advance. I did compete in classic, but I didn't even consider placing in classic because we have all these experts there. And I don't remember what place I got in classic, but it was my first time flying the Olympic in a contest, and first time taking off on asphalt, and first time landed on asphalt. So it was good, but I just consider my process failing forward. I keep improving, and so is everybody else.
Yeah, that's the problem.
What was Dennis there?
Yeah, Dennis, he actually, my focus is always advanced, so I can speak about the advanced. I don't remember how he did in profile. He actually competed in profile, classic, and Pampa advanced. I competed in classic and advanced, and I was more focused on the advanced. So Dennis took first in advance, and forgive me, Dennis, if I'm forgetting what you did in the other events, but and then Steven took a second in advance. Steven actually did a bang up job. He actually made some great improvement. And by the way, Dennis was actually flying. He actually debuted his Circular 61 with the Rojet 61. So that was his first time in a contest with that plane.
Yeah, that's what I was
Sure when he
how the plane flew and the engine run and all that kind of stuff for him.
He knows he can get more out of it. I mean, he can just tell there's so much potential. And hopefully he'll be on here and he'll speak to that, because Dennis and I actually roomed together Saturday night. But we did have several conversations about it. But if he joins us tonight, maybe he can reflect on that.
Excuse me just a second. Leonard, you keep turning your mic on and off. What's going on? It's muted right now. I keep saying you mute it and then unmute it and then back and forth.
So Charles, you'll actually let a white guy sleep in the room with you?
Separate bed. Separate bed.
Separate beds.
And I kept one eye open.
Your mic is still muted, Leonard.
Charles, was this the contest in Los Angeles?
Yeah, Whittier Narrows.
Oh, yeah, I remember. That was my first contest in the United States. I think it was in
right. Yeah, maybe you talked about that.
Yeah, it was 96.
Yeah.
I was flying. I just barely learned how to fly the pattern, maybe a couple of weeks before the contest. And I went there on a Saturday, and they asked me. Well, I said I don't know how to fly. It was my first contest in the United States. I barely knew how to do something. And they said, well, you can fly, since you know how to fly the whole pattern. You should fly intermediate. But that was the next day, and I couldn't come back. So they flew classic and beginners in the first day. So I said, well, just let me fly beginners. So here I go flying beginners over there with an Intrepid SV12 with a 46 VF 1.1. Everybody looks at me like I'm fucking nuts.
Like a beginner with an Intrepid.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is that before that, I was flying a plane that a twister would put it to shame, right? So it was really, really a bad plane. And I said, I'm sick and tired of, having planes that do not run right. The plane doesn't fly right. It's just all crap, right? So I'm fighting the plane. I keep fighting it. And I said, I'm done with this stuff, right? So I bought the best kit I could possibly find, and I bought the best motor that I could possibly find. And when I flew that plane for the first time, I took it off the ground. I'm going like, oh my God. I mean, just
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. It's like jumping out of a Yugo into a Ferrari. Serious. That was the
Right.
difference, right? And everybody says like, well, I'm not ready for a plane like that. I want to fly my Ringmaster or whatever. The thing is that those planes are much easier to fly, right? So that's the key point. If you want to learn on something that's easy to fly.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I think that's a
Yeah,
good
but there's a
idea.
lot more parts to pick up if you wreck it as a beginner, and a lot more
see,
money.
that's the issue. The plane, it's easier to fly, but that doesn't mean you have to hit that bottom, right? You just fly normally like you do, learn a pattern and stuff like that. Just keep practicing. Maneuvers are gonna come in place. The shape is gonna come in place in time and stuff like that. You don't have to push it, right? Oh, I have a good plane now. I have to get 5-foot bottoms. That's ludicrous, That's not the way you do it, right? But the idea is that I could do a horizontal 8. I don't think I ever did a square 8, even though I attempted before that. But for me, in a matter of 3 weeks, I learned the whole pattern
Right.
on the plane.
Right.
So long story short, I was at contest, and I burned in a good first flight. Then I burned in a good second flight, and after the second flight, what I did, I started to fill in the rest of the maneuvers, from the beginner pattern to everything else. I just did inverted flight. I did the inside squares and no, the outside square and a triangle, and I put in the vertical 8 in the hourglass, and I did the 4-leaf clover at the end, right? And all the rest of the maneuvers basically was a whole pattern. And after I landed, the judges come to me. They said, and they look at me and said, "This is the last time you fly beginner."
Yeah, I bet.
so, so so I made the move to intermediate after that, and I've won every single intermediate contest from that point on, all the way up to the Nats. And I did actually win the Nats in '96 when Brodak was
Oh, very
offering
good.
for the first time. And after that, I went, immediately after the Brodak contest, there was the Advance and Open at the Nationals, and Brodak paid my entry fee to go to the Nationals, and I made the top 10 in the first try.
Oh, very good.
And that was, it's like from that point I was flying Advance, and shortly after I just moved up to Expert, and that's it. But having a good plane that will run consistently and perform consistently, to the point that all you have to worry about, where do I want to put this plane, it's a huge learning tool. Otherwise you're just fighting it. I mean, it's like, if you see an expert taking a Ringmaster and flying it very well, is because they have so much experience. They know how to fly around the problems. And I could
Right.
take when I was going in Chicago, and I was just sitting there on the field with the guys flying, and I said, "Hey, did you bring anything to fly?" I said, "No." "You want to fly something?" And they would fuel up their planes and let me fly their planes, right? And they're just sitting
Yeah.
out, just watching me flying it. And they were going like, "I didn't know my plane can do a triangle." I said, "You know what? You're right. You cannot do a triangle." I had to fly around the problems because I noticed this and that and that. So because of this and that and that, I did this and that and that. So that made it kind of possible. So that's how I got away with it, you know.
Yeah.
But it's
I haven't
for
flown anybody's plane. I would like to fly an expert plane to see what it feels like. So I've only flown my plane. The closest is this Olympic that I'm flying. The guy that I got it from, he actually is an expert pilot, and so maybe I have flown a pretty good plane. I just haven't flown anything really better. This Olympic did fly very well, and during the contest, I realized, my problems are just I really need to get ahead of the plane. I'm flying with the plane, which essentially means I'm behind the plane as far as choreographing the maneuvers. you're with it, it's kind of hard to. I mean, if I discover I'm too high, well, it's too late then. You know, need to be ahead of it so I can point it to where I need to be, and that's the kind of epiphany I had at the Whittier. So even though I took fourth, I still benefit immensely. I mean, I learned so much when I go to a contest. It's well worth the cost of hotel stay and transportation and all that kind of stuff, because I can't even remember. I mean, I got some coaching from from the national champion Bob Whiteley, and it wasn't an all day event of coaching, but I got a little bit, and he's like 8 hours away from me if I was to drive to his house, so that was a pretty good deal for me.
Yeah. Look, even Mike here with us, he can probably say something about what it means to move from a some plane to an SV, for example.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Mike, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Mike.
I was just my turn to get in there. Charles, when you're leaned up, all we can see is your mouth, buddy. I can only see the bottom half of your head.
My phone's breaking up.
It's funny. When you're talking, I just see your mouth in the top of the screen.
Yeah.
But
I'm waiting for my computer to boot up, and I'll get on with my computer. So I'm kind of leaning my phone against my computer, and I know I'm kind of cut off.
Yeah, you got to squat down. You need to lose 2 inches. There you go.
Hey, Leonard, have you got your mic straightened out now? Can you hear me, Leonard?
Leonard.
Oh God, not this.
Yeah.
You can't hear Rusty, huh?
I guess not.
No, not right now.
Oh Lord. Well, anyway, I'm here.
I can hear Charles now, and I can hear you. I could keep every time I go off and come back on. I get some people I can hear, and other people I can't.
Well,
Did you
And
get?
it keeps changing. You're cutting in and out.
let's let Mike tell us about his weekend.
Before I had you clear, now you're cutting in and out. Not to worry.
Well, I've been watching the whole time. I've been here working in the shop and just watching. I had to finish up a couple of things, but Tryon, I know exactly what you're saying, man. Going from flying the junk that I have been flying to flying the SV is definitely better. We had a cancer benefit at the RC Club on Saturday. We raised over $3,000 cancer research at the RC Club, and we had 2 control line circles going all day long. Sam and I flew combat all day. We flew a bunch of stunt flights. We put on a good show for everybody there. We had a midair and a flyaway, which was pretty awesome. They liked that a lot. But I flew the SV a couple times. The only problem was I forgot my 64-foot lines. I only had 60s, so I was flying on 60s. So it wasn't where it needed to be. I had made some 64s and flew it on that a couple times, and I really liked that. But the one problem that is solved, I put the bigger tank in it, and I'm getting a 7-minute engine run now. So at least that part of it is figured out. I actually called Derek Berry today to find out when he's going to be at Huntersville, and he's going to work with me on Saturday afternoon after combat is done and the stunt events are done. We're going to get the SV out, and Derek's going to help me out, make sure that I'm running the PA the right way, fly the airplane. We got to do any trimming to it or whatever. I'm hoping to fly it Sunday in advanced PA at Huntersville. So we'll see what happens. I'll bring a backup though. I've got other stuff in case we don't get all the bugs worked out, not working correctly. I've got some other stuff that I can fly advanced if I have to.
Yeah.
We'll make the debut though Sunday, God willing, with the SV, and see what happens. Rusty, I max flow got a hold of Will Davis.
Yeah.
We got you a bar stool. Will's
All
got
right.
one. I talked to him today, and he took pictures of it and sent me the dimensions of everything that I need. So tomorrow, I'm going to go to Home Depot and I'll get the wood I need. I'll cut everything that we need, and we'll screw and glue the thing together when we get to Huntersville. So you'll have a swivel bar stool that you can get your feet off the ground to fly with.
Excellent. Oh man, I'm looking forward to that.
We'll make that happen. We'll make that happen.
That's so cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate your help with that.
Okay.
So did you get in some full patterns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking to me, Rusty?
Yeah, I was talking to you.
Talking to me?
Yeah, if Sam got in full patterns.
Oh no, dude, it was blowing like 12 to 15 all day long. So he flew some stuff, but it was just so windy. And here's the thing, this is what was disappointing. That Vector 40 that we got from Steve Mills, from James Mills, I'm sorry, Ben's dad. I flew it a bunch of times, and I finally got the tank figured out, and the Dixon LE46 in there, and it's running great. And I flew, but it kind of pulls a lot, and Sam can't fly it. You know how skinny he is. I mean, you guys haven't seen him in a long time. He really hasn't got any bigger. He's just got taller, but his arms are literally this big around. He's so freaking skinny, man. He cannot fly a full-bodied 46 sized airplane. He can't hold on to it. After he does the 3 outsides, he's reaching up and grabbing the handle with his other hand because he just can't hold on to it. His arms get tired, man. The kid's like 57 pounds soaking wet. He just can't handle a full-size stunt ship. You know?
What do you have in that Nobler?
Well, that one didn't even work out either, man, because it just kept running away the whole time. It just went screaming lean every time we put it in the air. It went screaming lean. It's got a Thunder Tiger 36 in it. And I copied Dick's Uniflow plastic tank, Dick, the one you put on the Checkmate. And I believe you gave us one for one of Sam's airplanes last year. I got another one of those tanks, and I copied that. I did exactly what you did. I plumbed it the same way. I ground out the clunk, and I soldered a little piece of brass tubing to it, and I mean exactly what you did. And I put it in the Nobler with a Thunder Tiger 36, but it's just running away, man. Going screaming lean in the air. The other Nobler that we had with the LA 46, that one was running okay, like the Vector. It was in a 4.2 and changing and everything. But it's just, it's a 50-ounce airplane, and Sam can't hold on to it. He can't fly it. He gets tired. Tired.
Thunder Tiger, drop the compression ratio. It'll stop it from running away.
Put a head shim in it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah,
or two maybe.
With a tank.
If it's a cooling problem, you can try running it with the cowl off of it too. That might help.
It's just getting hot running away. That's common with that FP style motor, the Thunder Tigers,
okay,
Magnum, all that.
We took a whole bunch of stuff out there to mess around with, and I was hoping he was going to get into these bigger flapped stunners, but when they're running away like that, just going so fast, they're yanking his arm off. It's not comfortable for him, not there. So we focused on flying his rugged stunt trainer with the KMB 28. And he worked on that and flew that really well. And some of the old slows, some of Mac's old slows with the Fox 36 on it, we ran it a little sloppy with a 4-pitch prop, and he could handle that. He did that all day. I mean, we flew a lot, but it was disappointing that the actual bigger stunt planes that we have for him, he can't hold on to them. So I brainstormed when I got home Saturday night, and then yesterday morning I went digging through my cores, and I built an airplane from yesterday morning till tonight. I came up with something I think is going to work pretty good for him. I'm going to show it to you here. Give me a second.
Did you ever get around to flying that yellow?
He flew it one time, but it was yanking his arm off.
Yeah, that's a big fun.
The show, yeah. No, I mean it's a great flying airplane. I flew it a couple times, Dick, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome, but it's just still too much airplane for Samuel. You know.
We had the same thing with Samantha.
Yeah.
She couldn't hang on to a big plane either.
Right. I mean, like I said, he's 57 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
Even though he's 4.5 feet tall, he's a beanpole, man. He's
Yeah.
just, I can take my fingers and put them around his arms. Like that. That's how big his arm. He's all skin and bone. He's got such a high metabolism, and his genetics are. He's gonna end up being 6 foot tall, but not very big around.
He's gonna be skinny his whole life.
I think so. Yeah. We have trouble finding pants for him to wear. Lisa has to special order his pants online because we can't find anything in his length that's narrow enough to stay around his skinny little waist. You know what I mean? So I went searching yesterday through my cores, and I built this. I started it at 11 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and I worked on it all day and most of the night, and I finished it up today. So these are, it's 576 square inches. I call it the rectangulus. I know it's ugly as shit, right? Okay, so it's the rectangulus. Because the cores were, they're 12 inches by 24, so 12 inches by 48. So it's 576 squares, symmetrical airfoil. My friend Larry cut those cores for another project that we were going to do, and we never got around to do them. I did a carbon fiber tube all the way from the nose block to the tail, right? And so even though the fuse looks very skinny, it's just skinned with balsa, a half-inch balsa block on the top and bottom, and then skinned with 16-inch balsa on the sides. And then, I mean, I just went with a rectangular rudder.
Yeah.
Rectangular elevator. Now, guys, you got to give me a break, man. I started this thing at 11 o'clock yesterday, and I finished it tonight. Total build time was 13 hours. I got 13 hours. I got some carbon fiber gear on there.
Ooh.
Hobby King carbon fiber gear. Got a 4.5 ounce Uniflow tank, and I put an LA-40 up front with a tiger needle in it. And
That's all you need.
Just the basics, eh? That's beautiful.
just the basics, but 13-hour build all the way, and so it's 576 squares, and it weighs 37 ounces. So I think
Wow.
Nice.
That'll do.
I think with that wing loading and being just 37 ounces, Sam will be able to handle that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty light, you know, and the engine's it's a proven engine. We've run this on some other airplanes before, and it runs real nice. But I knocked this thing together with just crap that was laying around the shop, man. It literally yesterday morning after church,
Hey,
I
Mike.
came home and pulled these cores out and said, I'm going to build an airplane around the foam cores for Sam. So it will get its maiden flight at Huntersville. We're going to get there early enough on Thursday to fly at Huntersville. So we'll maiden it there.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Are you going to make it up to Michigan at all?
Yeah, I will be up there at some point with the kids. Normally, I would be up there in 2 weeks for the Detroit contest, the 18th, 19th. But the kids are still in school, so I'm going to Joe Nall. I'm going to Triple Tree. I'll probably be up there sometime in June or July in Detroit to take the kids to visit Mom. I hope we can get together and fly. Maybe you, me, and Dick can get together and do a little flying.
Well, I got Sam an airplane, but to ship it or whatever would be crazy.
Yeah, don't do that.
It was a 25 size Cardinal.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I know he can fly this. It's a ARF, and they made like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them. They were gonna build these for Brodat, and it's I don't know, 3 of the first ones they did, but then they decided not to do a 25 size.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great, Steve. And you know, I've got family up there. My nephew will come and he'll drive to GR and pick it up and get it to my mom. You know.
It's like I'm not worried. If I knew like you had somebody you knew coming down through that way or anything else, I'd get it to them or get it to you. Send it down. It needs. Only thing is, it needs a cowl, but that would be easy to build. The little half cowl things. It's missing that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's all it's missing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to turn down anything for Sam that is flyable for him. You know.
Well, it's a flapped airplane, so that would give him a flapped airplane to fly.
Right.
And used to, and an LA-25 or a Brodak 25, would be perfect for it.
Yeah.
He's probably got an extra 25 LA laying around.
Oh, yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
he might.
Okay.
I got a few. Well, listen, it's not like Sam is out of airplanes. We have the 2 Stuntbot airplanes that he built last year for the Nats. Okay, you remember the big foam wing profiles with the 40s?
Yeah.
We have both of those, but I don't want him to wreck them before the Nats because we did not build any more airplanes for him this year for the Nationals. So we need to make sure he has those when we show up at Muncie, because those are the only BOM models we have for him. So,
Now the other thing is too is, well, he can fly that. That'll give him a flapped airplane to see if he let you know. But more than likely, John still has the CAD or the laser cut thing on this. And I bet you could talk him into, or get Dennis to have these things cut out. You'd have to build it, but he could cut them for you. Then you'd have one, because there's just not a lot of airplanes out there this size for kids.
no, there's not. And Steve, the Rectangulus was an experiment that I started yesterday. I'm still not sure how. I think it's going to fly pretty good. It balances good, and it's got enough squares, and it's light enough. I think it's going to be just fine because it's actually smaller in wing area and engine size than the Stuntbot airplanes that Sam flew at the Nationals last year. So I think he's going to be able to handle this just fine. But at his point where he's at in his flying, I think I'm really going to. I'm looking more towards building elevator-only, foam-winged airplanes in the appropriate size that he can fly comfortably, because they're quick, they're easy, they're cheap. You know what I mean? As opposed to doing a built-up airplane and covering it either with monocoat or doing silk dope, and even doing flaps and all that hardware. I think I can settle on a design that's a straight foam wing, just a profile fuse that is light enough with the proper engine where he can fly the pattern and not get his arm yanked off. Because it's cheaper and quicker to do a foam wing profile than it would be to do a built-up airplane. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd love to have that airplane, Steve, for sure, and I'm sure he'll be able to fly it. But as far as me building stuff, I'd rather put time into building models that go quickly that he can handle.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be crashing after this year or whatever. Once he got the pattern down, he's not going to crash anymore. So then you're going to be into the airplanes that really perform. So now's the time to start building them, because by next year, you're going to want him in a flapped airplane to really, really for him to get out of his flying all that he can.
Well, yeah, You're probably right there. I'm hoping we get a sponsor. Who wants to sponsor Sam?
I'm giving you an airplane. Ain't that enough of a sponsorship?
I mean, Christ, I can barely keep up with keeping us in combat airplanes and keeping me in stunt airplanes to build stuff for him. I mean, we're still 4 years away from him doing a team trial, Steve. You know, so he's not going in 2020. It'll be 2022. So we're still a few years away from him getting there. But he's got to be able to handle a decent sized stunt plane, and he's just not there yet. He's too skinny. I'm waiting for puberty to hit, and he bulks up a little bit, man.
Yeah.
You know, the poor kid, he's out there getting his arm yanked off, and he's trying like hell. He is. He can fly the damn planes without crashing them, but he gets tired. You know, he can't do it two-handed.
But
You know?
it is that, and you know, Dick was around for Samantha. We were always behind with her flying ability with airplanes. By the time that we got, she got big enough and she started flying that Oriole when she really started doing well. And then it's like, okay, now she's graduated up to another airplane, a better airplane, and now we're rushing to get a better airplane for her. And if you start now and plan on 2 years ahead of time, you may have it done in time. Because otherwise you're rushing and it's really a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Just a world championship plane. It flew for the first time at Brodak.
Right.
Before we left. I
Right.
mean,
I understand what you're saying.
You know, and it was a deal to where we got it trimmed on the last day there. She flew her best flight. Kept, doing little things like, wow, that's my best flight ever. Yeah, it's all done. It's like, it should have been done the year before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have lots of time. Sam's only 10 right now.
Yeah.
So we have lots of time. We have lots of time. If it takes him till he's, 14 or 16 before he can fly a real stunt ship, then that's what it's going to be. I'm not going to rush because we're counting on 2022, when he's 13. We'll just see how his flying progresses, and he'll fly the appropriate airplanes for him as we go along. And if we get there, we get there,
Mike, a couple of things I want to say about the engine setup. I mean, you probably already know this stuff. But if an engine wants to run away all the time, and what I mean by this is that when it's in level fly, it goes in four cycle mode, and then when you go in the maneuver, it starts to go in a 2-cycle and stays there without backing off back to 4-cycle. That's a typical thing when you have a prop that is too small or too light.
Too small or too light. Okay.
You do not have enough load on the engine.
Okay.
You want to put a 3-blade prop or put a bigger diameter on it, load it up a little bit more.
Okay.
If the motor stays in 4-cycle and stays in a 4-cycle in a maneuver without breaking in a 2, now you have too much load.
Okay.
There's a balance.
Okay. Well, no, actually, I didn't know that. This is all stuff I'm still learning, man.
Yeah. So if you want to get a nice 2-4 brake, you have to get the proper propeller. The fact that Sam cannot hold on a nobler or something like that, I don't think the nobler is that excessive in pull and stuff like that.
Well,
you might be flying too fast. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
It starts out okay in a 4, and then it goes into a 2, and it stays there, and it's like a freaking combat plane after that.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I admit there I have an issue with the engine or the tank or something, or not enough prop, or not enough. I need to decompress the motor maybe.
I bet you if you had a good 2-4 brake and with a even consistent running motor, I don't think Sam will have any problem with that.
No, I'm sure he could fly a Nobler that was set up properly at the proper lap time and without the
Yeah.
engine running away. All
Yeah.
I was saying
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that the problem there was it was run away. But the Vector we were flying with a 46, a Dixon 46, I flew it comfortably on 62-foot lines, and it was 4-stroking and 2-stroking and doing what it was coming on and coming on. He tried to fly that, and with the wind that we had, the 10 to 12 mile an hour wind on the downwind side, his arm was getting yanked out.
Yes.
So where he has to do his maneuvers, a 50-ounce airplane with a 46 in it is too much for him.
Teach him to walk into it.
Yeah, well,
Teach him to walk into it on downwind and walk back upwind.
You and
you
I
know.
both know that, but tell a 10-year-old that, man, there's a lot going on there in a 10-year-old's mind. You know, you can say walk into it when you do a maneuver, but he's still trying to learn to get through the maneuvers. So those little nuances, they just don't stick quite yet.
Well, try to put a 25 on that Nobler.
Yeah, I've got one. I could.
Because what it is that, you know, that's what he's saying about the size of the prop. You take an airplane with this landing gear and stuff set up for a Fox 35 that flew a 10-inch prop, and now you stick a Thunder Tiger 36 in it that'll turn 11.5, 12-inch prop, and you put a 10-inch on there, and there's no load on that motor. It has so much horsepower for that little 10-inch prop.
Yeah.
And you can't put the right size propeller on it because you have no ground clearance.
All right, understood.
Oh,
then the fix to that, Steve, is go to 3 blades.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 blades. Okay. Yeah. All good info. I'm listening to all this and I'm hearing you.
Dick had a Nobler with a LA 25 on it. It flew fine.
Yeah, flies great.
Yep.
Throw a nice on that and it won't pull, and it'll balance so much better because you can take all the tail weight off of it. Or if you don't put the tail weight on, it will turn.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought the best engine for that was an Inya 30, plain bearing 30, and because they're built on a 25 case, and that'll turn up a 10-inch, 10.6 with ease, and it ran good in that Nobler. I got an Inya 35, ringed Inya 35 in it now. That's on a 25 case, and Pat flew it here. Was it 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, so it was one of the best flying airplane I ever flew. All the tail weight off of it, everything, so you don't get the barbell effect. That airplane flies great. But yeah, you had another 3 ounces in the nose, and you had another 2 ounces on the tail to get it to balance, and then don't fly good. It wasn't designed for that. But
well,
yeah,
we'll get him there, I'm sure. Like I said, right now, I just realized just this weekend that he's not even 60 pounds soaking wet. So I have to get him into an airplane that he's comfortable flying.
Yeah.
When it even Dick, and you know this, even speed limit combat planes don't hold as hard as a 50-ounce Stunt, even though they're going 75 miles an hour.
Yeah.
These F-2D Russian planes that we're flying with an LA-25 going 75, they don't have any pull on them. He can handle those all day long, But a 50-ounce 46 size airplane, it's just yanking him out of the circle. So
Yeah.
we'll get there. I mean, he's 10. We're not trying to go to the team trials this summer and get him on the team. So he just needs to keep flying and crashing and whatever, and we'll get there. He's kicking ass for 10 years old right now. So I'm not too worried about where he's going to be in 2 or 3 years. He'll be better than he is now.
Is he going to enter intermediate this weekend?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, good.
Hell yeah, he is. He's done with beginner, man. He knows too much of the pattern to be in beginner anymore. So he may not get all of it, but he's going to do most of it. So
The more he does the pattern, it'll get imprinted and he'll never forget it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just got to get something he's comfortable with, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, 2 years ago at the Nats when Samantha flew that, it's like a Vector 40. I can't think which one it was. And that thing weighed 48 ounces or whatever. And it was so windy there at the Nats, and she could hardly take the pull of that airplane. I mean,
Right.
they're not hand strength and all that kind of stuff. It's not strong enough. And I was always going to take a pulley and a rope and hook some weights to it and have her grab the handle, and just have something that pulls like 25 pounds, and you know, in their hand. That, and I got these hand grip things, and she was using them to strengthen her hand grip, build muscles in her hands.
Yeah. Well, try and what Sam needs one of those revolutions. That's what he needs. He needs a really light airplane, man.
Yeah, I mean, I had my 9-year-old flying it.
Yeah.
He wasn't crying for too much pull or something like that.
Yeah.
But what I want to say about that is that, you know, I think Sam should be able to handle at least a twister kind of size plane.
Yeah.
And the problem is, the problem is the runaway engine sounds, by the sounds of it. And if it pulls too hard, add a foot of lines in there. I mean, it's no big deal, you know. Make it fly a little bit slower, a little bit longer lines. I mean, everybody goes like, "Oh, I fly my stunt plane, pull so hard. Okay, it's wonderful." What? You just have to pull enough to stay up on overheads.
Well,
That's it.
that's true, but also for new flyers and especially kids, it's got to stay out because they have. This goes back to what we were talking about, the nuances of how the plane flies. You're like, you know, take a step in, a step or two in. If you're downwind, it's pulling too hard. That may work to an adult, but for a child, you're gonna have to beat that into them over and over and over again. To you and me, that's instinctual to take a step in, or even, you know, that first hard corner or coming out of the outside square on a square 8 on a windy day, it gets loose right there. So our instinct is to take 2 steps back when we get that first corner on the square 8. Sam actually crashed a plane Saturday doing square 8s on the first corner of the outside square of the 8 because it was so windy, it got loose, and he didn't have the natural instinct to step back making that turn. And I talked to him about it. I said, "Do you know why you crashed?" He said, "Well, the lines got slack." And I said, "Well, they got slack because of where you were at in relation to the wind, and you made that turn down, and they started to get slack. You know, 2 steps back, you'd have been able to pull it out."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Okay," but he's not going to remember that the next time. That's going to have to happen. You know, where you're at flying in the hemisphere with the wind, whether you go forward or back. And that's instinctual, I think, for everybody here, everyone sitting here, it's instinctual. And we learned it at some point while we were flying.
Do you stay in a center with him when he flies?
Sometimes, most of the time, yeah, when we're working on the stunt pattern.
Yeah.
Sometimes
You might want to stay next to him.
Go out there and do your thing, you know. So a lot of times I'm like, just go out and practice these 2 maneuvers or these 3 maneuvers.
Yeah.
But sometimes I go out with them and I sit there and I tell them what to do. But you know, everything happens quick, man. In the square 8s, he'd come over the top of that one, and even if I'd have said take 2 steps back, it would have been too late. You know.
So are you saying after square 8, you first it goes vertical, right? And when you go outside, is the second corner right on top, or when it goes in a dive?
Second corner on the outside down, yeah, because you're on the wind line right there.
Yeah.
And the wind is pushing you.
Yeah. Well, the thing
that's
is,
where he lost it. That's where he lost it.
If you go with an electric and use a tractor, or I mean a pusher prop, that'll stop that.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing that, so
that's a bad thing. But
you know
what I'm saying, here's let's okay.
That was probably the first time he ever experienced that. Doing an outside square of that part of the 8, and the line's going slack. That was the very first time that ever happened to him. He's 10.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, that he's only been flying maneuver a couple of times.
Mhm.
So now he's learned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it wasn't instinctual for him to
Mhm.
back up with slack lines in that
Mhm.
part of it. We all know that you can read the wind, you can read the circle and what's
Mhm.
happening, and you know when to do this and you know when to do this. We all know,
Mhm.
but he has to learn that. And
That's and this is the exact reason why I'm saying you should stay with him in the center, and constantly talk to him and talk him into, okay, Sam, I want you to focus on this flight. Feel the plane. Feel the pull in the plane. Just feel it all the time. Just feel it. Just stay focused on that, right? When he does his squares, stay next to it. Go like, okay, we're gonna do the square. We're gonna put it right here. Okay.
well,
Do you feel on each lap? You feel where the wind is behind you? Do you know where you're gonna do the maneuver next time? You know, talk to him a lot, and that's gonna teach him to think actively as he flies. And
sure,
then when he does maneuvers, when he does a square, for example, we say before he does it, okay, we're gonna make a square over there. This is what I want to do. I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a corner on each bit, right? And just go for it, right? Just put one on each bit right there and be committed to it, right? And you're gonna see him just as the more you talk to him, you just feel the plane, just get him to feel the plane. Another thing is like probably teach him like when he practices the outside square, the first corner is very critical. You have to attack that son of a bitch. Pardon my French. You have to attack. You have to go hard on it, as hard as you can. Right?
yeah,
What's they're gonna do is they're gonna actually stop the plane, slow it down, and now you have all kinds of time to do that invert pull out. Right? If you go soft on it, you have no flat, and then you scare the bejesus out of you trying to go invert it. You have
sure,
to go
sure.
hard
I
in the
get
first
that.
place,
I
but
get
you
that.
have to talk to him. You know.
I do that with him. I go out there and I coach him and talk to him, but I can't just hammer on him all day long while we're flying. He's got to
Oh,
be
no,
able
no,
to.
not, I'm not
He's
saying
got to
hammer.
go
Just
have
talk to him.
fun. He's got to be able to fly and do his own thing and have fun and make his own mistakes. But
Uh-huh.
when we are talking about maneuvers, you know, I try to give him the little bit of knowledge I have about how to fly stunt maneuvers. But you know, we're not running it like drill practice or anything like that. I don't want him to lose interest because he's,
But
you know,
what I
going
don't
out there going,
on that corner,
you know, he has to have fun while he's doing it. So
on that corner, if it's a windy day, he should have never lost line tension.
Yeah.
There's something inherently wrong with the way the plane is trimmed.
well, he was in the wrong place too. He was a little bit farther past where he should have been.
Oh, he was flying into the wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
You know, the plane was pulling that hard in the wind. He should have never, unless something was.
He was like probably right on the wind line when he did that turn down, or maybe even a little bit past it. I mean, it was so damn windy. I flew my half-A stunner that I built for Rodak. I put a flag up on that, and when the wind quit, I flew for a solid 2 minutes doing figure eights with my half-A stunt plane.
Wow.
With no motor. 2 minutes of wind flying I did, just doing figure eights, back and forth, back and forth.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're going to see Derek Barry this weekend, give him one of Sam's airplane and have him trim that damn thing. I mean, 45 is where you need the most line tension. And that's usually when people trim their airplanes. They have all kinds of line tension straight out in front of you. When you get up to 45, that's when there's problems. But Derek will know, flying one of Sam's airplanes, how to trim that thing so it's trimmed in the right way, because that was one of the biggest things we had with Samantha was trimming her airplane. She couldn't tell me what to do. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And we sat there and struggled with it. And I mean, when we went to the Nats and Derek trimmed her airplane, it was a big difference. I mean, he knows where to move them lines and stuff like that, and what it's going to do when you move them so far. And having trim out one of Sam's airplanes and see if that doesn't make a difference. And then he knows how it should feel at a 45. Once Samantha knew how it should feel, it made it a lot easier for her to figure out what was going on, what it should do. When you enter that first, that was the other part, entering that first loop of the clover, people losing all line. That's where you usually really lose line tension, from that 45 into that clover. And that's got to be trimmed in, because the down low and stuff, I mean, that's where you always have way too much line tension. That's when you want to pull it out of your hand once the thing speeds up and stuff like that. But Derek can really trim an airplane.
I'm gonna step away for a minute.
Well, this is my 2 cents in a lead out position, and this is what you guys are pretty much talking about here. The lead out's position, you probably start with them maybe an inch behind the CG or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And as you fly the plane, you might notice that at 45 degrees gets kind of loose and kind of loose on top, right? So everybody instinctively, they say, well, I need to move the lead outs back to get more line tension, more rake, but actually it's false.
Right.
You want to go opposite direction. You want to go forward. And as you move it forward a little bit at a time, flight after flight after flight, you're going to probably find out that actually the line tension, you might lose some down on level laps, but you're going to gain a lot on the top.
Right.
So,
That's right.
so the thing is that in one of my experiences, when I first started to play with the lead outs, what I did is I used just half a fuel tank or something like that, and I put one flight after another one after another one. I didn't even worry about the level ups or anything like that. All I was trying to do is just feel the plane. How does it feel as you climb in a vertical 8 and stuff like that? So the plane got better and better and better and better. So, and you can see it kind of getting better and then gets worse, right? So your correct position is somewhere in between there, right? Because it's worse with the lead outs too far back, it's worse with the lead outs too far forward. So we are somewhere in between them. But what, to me, I didn't know much at the time, but what I did, I stopped at the point where I was flying the plane, and by the way, this was my SV, the Intrepid, the first Intrepid that I was talking about, and I was just wondering, what are these lead outs about, right? So I started to play with them, and I started to do like my horizontal 8s, and I said, okay, this is pretty good, right? And out of the horizontal 8, I came here and just went right on top on a vertical 8, right straight out of the horizontal 8. Okay, I said, oh, this is kind of cool. Let's do squares, and I did the squares, and I started to do square after square after square after square after square after square. I mean, I said, oh, this is cool. So I made my last square. I went horizontal, and I just put it into the hourglass, right out there. Bam, hit it, and the plane was staying wherever I want to put it. And I said, man, this is cool. But that's when I learned about the lead out positions, how important that is. And I think if there's one thing that you want to have adjustable on a plane, that's the one thing you want to have adjustable at minimum.
Yeah, it's like when I got the 2 vectors, and we have one. Well, we did. Now that was gone, but we had one on a pusher prop, one on a tractor prop. You can't believe the difference on lead outs. With the pusher, you got to move them lead outs way ahead, just because that prop, the P factor, wants to pull that nose out and grab that airplane. You actually have to move your lead outs way forward from what you're normally do to get that thing to have line tension at 45.
But Steve, there are setups and setups, right? and yeah, you use a puller prop or a pusher prop, things change obviously, right? But whatever you lose on one side, you're gonna gain it on the other side, and then you change the prop with the opposite direction. It's the opposite. It's just all flipped over now.
Right. But
So,
it's, where do you want the problem at?
yeah, good question.
You know, yeah, because the problem's going to change from one to the other. Do you want less of a problem going into the hourglass, or starting that first dive into the squares? I mean,
But it's the
losing it at 45, and that makes you more comfortable and stuff like that. Yeah, you're gonna feel it someplace else. But where do you want the problem at? You're gonna have a problem no matter what.
not necessary, but I think all of the problems come from one thing. The plane doesn't maintain its speed in a maneuver. As long as you maintain speed, you maintain line tensions, relative to where the plane is at 45 level, whatever, But if the plane is losing too much speed in a maneuver, just like you're talking about the four-leaf clover, the first one, right? You're starting at high up, right? And now you're climbing, and if the wind is strong enough, the wind is going to just almost stop you over there. And that's why you're losing line tension over there. It's not penetrating through the wind, right? And then that's that's the point where you're kind of asking for it.
Yeah.
So it can also be just a plain design issue. And I think it's like, yeah, we pile on the power on these planes and try to make them so powerful to cut through the wind and stuff like that, but then the motors are not, it's different case scenarios for everything. Yes, some people swear by the by those props, but yeah, you can do it either way. I think the props that you're talking about is probably going to help you out on the hourglass on the very top corners.
Yeah.
But if you look at everything else, it's breaking even.
But if it helps you, it's like I said, you got to kind of pick where you need help at.
Mm-hmm.
George Eldritch, which is the godfather to control line, he flew in the opposite direction, so the prop would be turning like a pusher prop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He flew clockwise because of what happens when you fly counterclockwise. So I mean, and everybody thinks he's a god when it comes to building airplanes and what he did with the Nobler and all that kind of stuff, and all the wings are based off Nobler. And he flew counterclockwise. So, if he won the name so many times and all that, why isn't everybody flying counterclockwise?
I think it's the availability of the motors at the time. They all spun the other way. Like
fly, you can pick whatever direction you want with electric.
Yeah.
What you like best. If it helps you here or hurts you there or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of people flew clockwise because of the P factor of the prop.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can design it out, but if you're stuck with what you got, that was nice with that first Nobler. We could put on either prop we wanted and change the direction of the motor and say, okay, do you like this better or you like that better?
Mm-hmm.
Gives you better, for the triangle and stuff like that. I mean, for the hourglass, and if that helps you out, it does. If it doesn't, then the other way. But I think it's a lot of it what you get used to and stuff like that. But.
Well, guys, I appreciate the input with Samuel, and the tips for trying to get him a little bit better. But I think the bottom line right now is he needs to fly smaller airplanes that don't weigh as much.
You know,
I'm telling you, you guys haven't seen him since last year, and he hasn't gotten any bigger. He's gotten taller, but his arms have stayed the same. You know, he's got nothing, man. He's got nothing as far as forearms, and
but get
there's
Derek
nothing here.
his
There's nothing
airplane.
there. It's that big around, man.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know.
get Derek to optimize his airplane.
Well, yeah, there's all that and there's other stuff, but you know, the kid just has to bulk up, man. He's just got to bulk up is the thing.
Mhm.
You know, because I know that was Samantha, when she won beginner. I said, all right, you know, we got her a different airplane. I'm going to fly your airplane now, since you're not going to use it anymore and you're going to a flapped airplane and stuff like that. Okay. I couldn't fly the air. That was the worst. To this day, it's the worst flying airplane I ever flew. How in the hell she won beginner with it, I do not know.
Mhm.
And Broden said it was horrible. I mean, I actually threw it in the burn it up because I wouldn't even give it to anybody. It flew so bad, and I wasn't going to play with it. See if it had a warped wing, this, whatever. It was horrible. You know,
Steve, are you flying beginner at Brodex this year?
I plan on.
Oh well, damn! I'm sad that Sam is moving to intermediate because I'd like him to whoop up on you in beginner, man.
Well, maybe next year I can fly intermediate against him.
Well, no, because he's going to win intermediate this year, so he'll move to advanced as a junior.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see. There's probably no other juniors flying intermediate in Brodax. So if he wins it, because he's the only one, he's got to move up. So
No, not unless he now.
Oh.
If it's the senior,
oh, is it senior?
yeah, that was the same thing with Samantha when she went
Oh,
in,
okay. All
when
right.
she flew intermediate at the Nats. I mean, they automatically get an intermediate trophy, but when she won intermediate, she won the whole thing. She had to move up.
Oh, she won the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, she beat the seniors too, and she beat everybody.
Well, wait. She beat the seniors, but did she beat all the regular
She beat
guys?
everybody. She had top score in intermediate. She smoked everybody.
Wow, that's impressive.
She had to move up to,
She had, what was it, a 502, I think it was?
yeah,
Yeah,
Holy
it was
crap.
502.
intermediate.
Wow. What, Dick?
I
What
got,
did you win it with 2 years ago?
494.
494. Okay.
I won the first intermediate at the Nats in '96 when Brodak actually did it in '96 for the very first time, right?
Wow.
That's when intermediate was born at the Nats, actually.
Yeah.
506 won it for me.
I won it last year with a 530.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Samantha,
put up a 527 and a 530.
Samantha, you know, winning intermediate at 12 years old with a 504 wasn't too damn bad.
Oh yeah, no, that's
Mhm.
that's freaking awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
And then of course, what you were saying, Tryon, you know, they pay your way into advanced. They
Yep.
pay your entry fee. They still do that now. I think Dick, you did that 2 years ago. You went and flew advanced, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they-
Or
yeah, they didn't offer to
they interviewed last year or year before when that was.
It was last year.
Yeah,
wanted
last
to
year
meet it.
flying combat because they were looking for you.
I told him, man, that CD last year, he did an okay job, I guess, but he didn't pay attention very much because I told Daryl the day I won intermediate, he was up there. I said, I am not flying advanced this week. I am flying combat.
Yeah.
The rest of the week, I will not be flying stunt. Do not enter me. Don't pay my admission. Don't sign me up. I will not be flying stunt anymore.
When
And
I
then they
came up,
put me
I told
in the damn list and put me in the mix, and fucked everything up.
Yep, I told him as soon as I seen it.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not flying it. Don't put me in. Do not enter me. Thank you, but no, I'm flying combat. So anyway, but I might fly advanced this year at the Nats. We'll see. I don't know.
Do you know?
During what's Wednesday and Thursday in combat?
Well, actually, because the freaking team trials are going on Saturday and Sunday,
Yep.
everything's pushed back. So our events for me and Sam do not start until Thursday. Speed limit is Thursday, half A is Friday, and fast is on Saturday. So fast is out because Samuel will be flying junior senior on Saturday. So I'm not even bringing fast equipment this year because it's the same day as Sam's going to fly Stunt Pampa junior senior.
Right.
No fast for us. But what I did find out, advanced starts on Wednesday, which we have nothing going on. So I might just go fly advanced and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, speed limit's Thursday, half A's Friday. The other thing interesting, Dick, that's going on, we're getting there Saturday because Samuel's going to fly intermediate on Sunday. So we're going to be there Sunday for Samuel. We don't have any events on Monday or Tuesday. We have 2 open days with nothing where we can fun fly practice. And I saw that mouse racing was going on Monday.
Yeah.
Mouse racing, half A proto, and half A speed. So I sent a little note to Bob Whitney because I know that he did a lot of that stuff, and asked him about Sam flying mouse racing. He said, well, it's something you really need to practice and you got to do before you get there. You can't just show up and do it. And he says, well, I'll work with Sam at Brodax and I'll teach him what he needs to know. And Bob's going to give him airplanes to fly mouse racing, half A proto, and half A speed at the Nats on Monday.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
He'll fly it as a junior there. So yeah, I mean, I asked Bob about it. He said I can do it, and then I had to have the conversation with Samuel. I'm like, do you want to do? This is what it's going to be. This is what mouse racing is. This is what proto is. This is half A speed. Are you interested in doing this? And he's like, yeah, I'll try it. Sure.
They're fun events.
I'm like, okay, well, then you got to practice at Brodax with Bob Whitney. I said, Bob's going to, and you're going to, this is a different type of control line flying altogether. And you're going to have to put in some work and learn how to do this if you want to fly it at the Nats. He was like, yeah, Dad, I'll try it. And I was like, okay. So, and actually, I think I'm sending Bob in LA 15 because Bob's going to Sam's going to do clown racing, the 15 clown racing at Broda. So I'm sending Bob an engine to put on one of his airplanes so that Bob can work with him in clown racing.
I have one that nobody can catch. Clown racing.
Well, he doesn't need to win. He just needs to get out there and he's got to learn to fly with other people in the circle racing.
Yeah.
He flies combat, so he's not going to be nervous with other guys in the circle, but he needs to learn how to do 2 up, 3 up, I don't know. We'll just see what happens, man.
Yeah, I'll bring it.
Bob's offered to train him and help him with equipment, so we're going to try it,
I've got one that just hauls ass. Samantha flew it in the clown race or speed. It went 88 miles an hour, ran out of gas on the last lap. Still went 88. It hauls butt.
So, well, I mean, Dick, the reason I even thought of this, man, was because you said it like 2 years ago when we were at the Nats. You said, man, you should get Sam into half A racing in mounts. He's like,
yeah.
He said, they got no juniors doing that shit anymore.
Yeah.
You should put Sam in there because, he'll show up, he'll be there and show up. So that's what kind of, you put that bug in my ear 2 years ago with Samuel. And I looked at the schedule this year and I saw mouse racing Monday and I'm like, oh, we got nothing going on. Why not? Let's see.
Yeah.
And then I questioned Bob about it. What would we have to do to get into mouse racing? What plane do I need? What engine do I need? What do we got? And Bob's like, I got all the equipment. Don't worry.
Tons of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just made it a no brainer. That made it easy right there. You know, I don't have to build an airplane or have motors. He's like, because his sons, they grew up, you know, they're done. He
Yep.
said, I've got tons of equipment that my sons raced back in the day. It's not doing anything. I can get you equipment. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool of Bob to do that, you know.
Yep.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay.
Well, thanks
Some
for
of-
the info tonight, Tryon. I enjoyed talking to you, and I'll take your tips to heart as far as where it goes with Samuel. You know, all the information is appreciated.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome anytime. You know, teach Sam how to step on the other guy's feet when he goes at racing against them.
Is that what it takes? Step
Yes,
on the guy's feet?
stomp real hard.
Yeah, stomp real hard.
All right, Ryan, thanks for visiting. And I hope you can make it to Triple Tree. Think about seeing if you can drive up one day for that.
When is it taking place? Is this week?
The stunt part of Triple Tree is
2 weekends.
May,
Not this weekend, not next weekend, the next weekend. 18th,
Right.
19th is the
Yeah.
main part.
Okay.
yeah, for the stunters, 17th, 18th, and that's it. Yeah.
And Huntersville, when is it?
This
Triple
weekend.
Tree, Triple Tree is this coming weekend. I mean, excuse me, Huntersville's this coming weekend. Triple Tree is for the stunt contest, 17th, 18th is when you want to be there.
Yeah.
We are leaving Wednesday night for Huntersville. We will be there early Thursday to fly. There'll be a few people flying on Thursday, but Friday is the big practice day, and that's when we fly half-A combat and fast combat on Friday.
Okay.
And then Saturday is the profile, classic, nostalgia 30, carrier, and speed limit, and then Sunday is the PA events.
Yeah. Well, I still have a test to finish before Thursday night, and my son has something to do this Saturday, so it's kind of kills my plans. Unless is the contest on Sunday?
The PA part is yes.
I think I might jump in a car on a Sunday and drop by.
PA
Sunday is all Pampa. The pilots meeting is at 8 o'clock or 8:30 on Sunday, and then first flight is at 9 o'clock.
Okay. All right. I'll check the weather out before I leave, and if it looks
So far it looks pretty good.
okay.
Hey, try it. If you do decide to leave and you bust out of there Saturday afternoon time, you can come and crash in one of our rooms at the hotel, man. You don't even need to get a room.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got Sam and I got two double beds in our room. If you come up Saturday night, you just meet us at the Ramada in Huntersville. I'll give you a bed to sleep in.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. That would work out great. Because I could probably it's gonna be easy on me to drive over there, and maybe we do something in the evening or something like that.
How many?
You got my phone number, right?
I don't have any phone numbers.
Oh, I thought we had talked on the phone before. Okay. Well, I'll PM you my phone number, and then that way, you can let me know, what your schedule is if you do make a trip.
Yeah, if he makes it, Rusty, we can put him up somewhere. Somebody will have a bed for him.
Yeah, we'll fix him up.
Reservation.
Okay. I can bring a inflatable mattress with me.
You don't
Yeah,
need
right.
I,
Good idea.
In with me. Sam will sleep with me, but I've got an extra bed in my room. So unless Alan Buck shows up again without a reservation like he did 2 years ago.
Yeah. Then you can sleep with Alan.
Oh man. Yeah, he was like, "Hey Mike, do you guys have a double room?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't have a hotel reservation. Can I crash with you this weekend?"
Oh,
Yeah, fine. Whatever, man. So I just put Sam in the bed with me, and we gave Alan the other bed.
Well, I really appreciate that, man.
Well, yeah.
So,
If it makes it easier for you to come, try.
yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well, let's plan on that then. Let's plan on Saturday. Then I'm gonna drop by Saturday afternoon, evening sometime.
Oh yeah, yeah, and then you
And
can come to the pool party with us.
uh-huh.
We always sit around at the swimming pool on Saturday night. Have a great
Oh, good.
time.
Oh,
Is that
heck.
the
Good.
was that Ramada that?
It used to be. It's Super 8 now.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, yeah, it's a Super 8 now.
Mhm.
That's right. Right.
Perfect. Good to know then. I'm gonna bring some swimming trunks with me.
Yeah, the pool's probably not open, but they
All
let
right.
us sit out there and drink beer.
Heck, I'm coming Saturday. That's it. End of story.
Okay.
Yeah, don't. What's your son got going on Saturday though? What do you have to do with your son?
That's in the morning.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the
Bring him
morning.
with you, man.
I'd love to.
Bring him with you. Sam would love to have your boy's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam's 10, man.
Yeah.
Bring him with you.
Cool. I'll try to.
Okay.
I'll see how it's his schedule.
All right, Train. Good night.
All right, good night, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Charles,
Yeah,
did you get that Strega?
yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to put this K77 in it with the pipe.
Well, let's see it, man.
Yeah, let's see it. Hold it up.
Hang on, let me.
Car, you don't want to go get it.
No. I'm gonna change the camera. Hang on. Let's see here.
I bet it doesn't look as cool as my Rectangulus.
Yeah,
I like that plane. That looks like a great flyer. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out on Thursday.
camera.
Well, it might be a total piece of shit. I don't know, man. But
Yeah, that's a lot of wing area. I wouldn't have guessed it because my IGS is a big plane and it's only 525 squares.
well, it's 12 inches at the root and the tip. There's no taper.
Yeah,
Straight leading edge, straight trailing edge. 12 by 48 is 576, man.
yeah, that's right. Because my IDS is 12 at the root, but it's only 6 or 8 at the
And
tip.
it's a symmetrical airfoil. It's not quite 2 inches thick at the spar. So, I mean, it's got a pretty beefy airfoil to it. I think at 37 ounces and 576 squares, it's going to fly
Yeah.
pretty damn good, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my IDS is only 36.
I think it's going to be okay, really, for some shit that I slammed together starting yesterday afternoon, man.
What does it weigh?
37 ounces.
Okay, so you can fly that on 12,000 line. That'll make it.
I don't know if I'd do that.
Why?
But 15s, yeah, I'll fly on 15 because I don't have any 12s, man.
Oh,
I like 12s.
that'll make a big difference on how it flies with 12s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Really?
That makes it too easy to kink up.
Well, then I guess I could fly it on some 50-pound Spectra, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it's not legal at Huntersville, man. They have an approved Spectra line at Huntersville.
Well, are you going to fly it in a contest or are you just going to try it out?
Well, I'm hoping Sam's going to fly this freaking thing in intermediate on Sunday. I hope
Okay.
that's the plan. I'm not sure, you know.
Somebody might even have some 12,000. You know, if we were around, I'd give you 12,000 slides. But
Yeah, I don't have it. I've got 15s. I mean, I'll just make up a set of 15s for it. I got 1,000 feet of 15s, and then I just got 1,000 feet of 18s today from MBS. Because
okay.
I thought I had a bunch, and I went to make up lines for the SV, and I had enough to make one set, and I ran out. So, but there's another 1,000.
that rugged stunt trainer.
Yeah.
All the difference in the world on how that airplane flies from 15 to 12. You put 12s on it, it really flies great. Put 15s on it, that thing's a dog. It does not like them heavy lines. It's such a small airplane.
Okay.
But I have one, and I got both lines, and I mean, 12
Well,
is
I can't do it at Huntersville because they haven't approved Spectra lines there. But I know that Spectra lines are approved for all stunt events at Brodax this year.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that?
That's what I heard.
I'll tell you
Spectra lines approved.
That's all I fly on is Spectra.
if you
Yeah,
got
well, they're legal at Brodax now.
Mike, if you have some Derek's number or Will's, ask them if they have any 12,000 lines. I bet you they do. And have them bring a set.
Oh, yeah, okay. Guess I can do that. Yeah.
I know these guys are all going to have 12,000. You know, you may not have any, but there should be a lot of people out there with 12,000 lines for these smaller airplanes,
Okay.
20 size and stuff like that they have out. But yeah, it make a huge difference.
Man, I don't trust them. You know, before I went to Spectra lines on my half-A combat stuff, we flew them on 12s. And they're just so freaking delicate, man.
Yeah.
If you look at them the wrong way, they kink and break, you know? Or they're always breaking termination, it seemed like, in half-A combat. I gave up on them, man. I can't imagine flying a 40-size 576 square-inch stunner on 12,000th line.
I tried it. I tried it early on, and I didn't like them. After one flight, I put them away. And they did. They frayed right there at the crimps.
Yeah.
I
And I guess if you wrap them in your, you know, you go around a grommet, a thimble,
Yeah.
and you wrap them, and you take good care of them. But man, I gave up on them in half-A combat, man. They would just, I was breaking lines all the freaking time, or they just kink so easy. So
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, if you're
I really hate the 008s that I use on the half-A sometimes.
Oh, I think I bought one set of those in my life, Rusty, to fly some profile half-A stuff on. You know, just old 49. So I'm like, okay, I'll fly it on 8s. And they lasted one flight.
Yeah.
I think I stepped on them going to the airplane, and then they got wrapped around my foot, and I broke them, you know.
everybody gets used to, you know, we fly with Spectra lines, and we get so used to not taking care and just throw them around and do whatever. You step on your lines, and you get out of the habit of being really careful with lines.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was learning stunt, you know, always took anal care of my lines. And then first time I saw those guys out there in the combat field, just dragging them around and walking on them. And I'm like, damn, they don't treat them the same way we do.
Hey, Dick.
Yeah.
Have you seen these yet? Now, I know you're using the Power Pro.
Yep.
Have you seen this? This just came out a few months ago. This is Power Pro Max Quattro.
Okay.
So it's the same pound test, but it's 25% thinner.
Oh, okay.
50-pound test.
And in whatever test you want. So 10, 20, 10 to 100, whatever it is, but it's a quarter thinner than the original Power Pro, but the same brake straight. So it's the Max Quattro.
Yeah.
Is the
Yeah,
new
that's
stuff.
the thing with Spectres, they're a little more draggy than steel lines.
Right. But now this
Thinner will cure it.
This is still Spectra, but 25% thinner.
Yeah.
Now, would Spectra go by strength or by diameter?
Strength. In the rule book, it's 65-pound test,
Right.
or 85-pound test is above 64.
Hey, there we go, Charles. Looks like
What do we got? Let's see it.
So we got the K77 just bolted in. The header is just laying up next to the in case. Got the header there.
great.
And then the pipe. And this is a kit that Steven's dad, Ruben, built.
How deep is that pipe tunnel?
Not very deep. I was wondering, I think I can show you because it's not attached. Let's see here. Trying to go in the right direction. Okay, the other way. You can kind of get an idea. It looks like it's about, at the thinnest part, it's about a ½ inch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it goes back to Then you got the piece of wood there for the mount there. But with the header resting, it's pretty high above the mount. I mean, I don't know if
Is the pipe all the way down on the mount?
no, it's not. It's probably up. Let me see here. I don't think I can show you.
The
But
pipe doesn't rest on the mount.
No, it's not.
Then
Resting on
it's
the
too wide for that tunnel.
Can cut it open work, Charles.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to open it up.
Cut it open more on the sides till you get that pipe to rest on that mount.
Now, what about cutting the section of the wing? Is that taboo or what?
Doing what?
If I was to cut into the center section of the wing?
No.
No, don't cut into the wing, but cut the sides of the fuselage so you can drop that tank lower into the tank mount.
Okay, I'll do that.
The plate mount.
I'll do that. That's no
Just
big.
give it open more on the sides so you get the space on there. You're gonna want the cooling on the sides anyway.
Yeah.
Widen the fuselage so the pipe fits in there.
Yeah. Just
Cut it open wide so it fits in there and drops in
I
there.
need to widen this part right here.
Yep.
Just take that whole lip out of there.
All right.
Yeah.
On the sides.
Charles,
Lip
can you
on the
go back
sides, just keep paper and shaving it off until you get it to set in there and get yourself a little bit more room on the sides because you're gonna need the air on the sides of the pipe for cooling.
Okay.
Can you go back up to the cowl, Charles?
Sure.
Now down a little bit from the side. Go down
From
to
the
the
side?
side of the fuselage. A little lower. And a little lower. And a
A
little
little lower? What do you want to see?
The exhaust stacks.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I didn't know those K-77s had exhaust stacks like that.
Yeah. Yes, Reuben McBride.
That's pretty cool.
That was a big thing of Wendy's for a long time. He liked putting them on all his airplanes, and that was a big seller. He says to make it more original, you got to have those on there.
It
So
looks
you
awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I
I
I
love
got
it.
some of those I'm gonna put on my Cardinal maybe. I might put a set on my Hyper Viper too. I got those ones that Howard
Oh,
Rush
Charles.
made me.
The cooling starts at that coupler.
The cooling starts here at the coupler, right?
The cooling starts at the coupler. At that point there is where your cooling has to start.
Okay. All right. All right.
So, Charles, will this be your Nats airplane?
Oh no. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, if it flies like a dream, maybe. But I don't know. It's up in the air. I mean, shipping to Strega would be a pain in the butt. I mean, the plane's already. I think Ruben told me it's a 78-ounce plane. I imagine he means with the engine. I think the K-77 is 12 ounces without the muffler or header on it. So.
What will you be flying at the Nats, Charles?
It had a Rojet 76 in it and pulled that plane with no problem.
Okay.
Oh, I have no doubt this K-77 will pull this plane.
And
No
I'll pull it
problem.
with no problem.
Yeah, I have no doubt about it. I'm going to be flying a built-up Pathfinder that I haven't finished the fuselage yet.
So you are going to have a BOM model.
I have to. I mean, even at this weekend, you know. Oh, by the way, you guys, it'd be easier probably for me to tell you than Steve. Might sound like he's being conceited, but Steven got Pilot's Choice Award.
Nice.
Yeah.
All
There
right,
you go.
Steven. Way to go,
There
buddy.
we are.
What airplane did you fly, Steven?
I flew my Patriot.
The one you crashed and fixed?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome.
And
Congratulations.
he got the Pilot's Award still. So that's
I got Pilot's Choice Award for the airplane and the best repair that is undetectable. You can't detect. Everybody looked at that airplane and knew when it hit. They said they cannot see anywhere that plane cracked and where it had to be repaired. There was no detection of any repairs.
I couldn't tell.
Congratulations.
Couldn't see it. So you got Pilot's Choice on the choice for the best repaired, Nice looking airplane.
Yeah, and then you kicked ass when you flew, man. You actually you flew excellent, man. You flew fantastic, Stephen. You really was on it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean, I haven't seen all your flights, but that was one of the best flights I've seen you do.
Which one was that? The last one?
Yeah, the last one I watched it. And that was awesome.
The last one, that was a really good flight. I really burned a good one in on that. I felt good about that flight. I mean, not to pat myself and blow my own horn, but yeah, I felt really good about that last flight. That was really on.
Yeah.
But you flew really well. That Olympic is working really well for you.
Yeah, the Olympic didn't do too bad. I could have got appearance points. That might have helped a little bit. That's why I need to build me a plane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that Olympic was working really well for you. You're very comfortable with it, and you seemed really nice and really comfortable with it to fly the airplane.
Dick,
That was working well for you.
Dick, are you gonna fly Stunt this year at the Nats?
Yeah. Yep. Flying on Brodex too.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's second place at the Palmer this weekend.
This new Jaggers for is Rodak and the Nats.
Where are you, Mike?
Yeah, Stephen took second place at the Palmer.
Second place. I placed second at the Palmer event this weekend.
Yeah, second to Dennis Nunez. And how far apart was you behind Dennis?
4.5 points.
4.5.
What you flying advanced or expert, Steve?
Advanced.
Advanced. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, what kind of appearance points did you get, Stephen?
I got on that airplane. I flew it on Saturday in Classic. I got 19 points.
Whoa.
That was impressive. I got 19 points on Classic. I got 16 on Sunday.
Yes.
Shit. Now, you think that'd be a 19-point airplane at the Nats?
17 average.
Wow. That's
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, I took pictures of it, I believe, and I saw it, and I felt I couldn't tell where the repair was at.
That's a 17-point average airplane, 18 at max. 19, I think they were just 1 point. They were a little more generous. Also in Classic, I couldn't, my chances was more slimmer to none on it, so it was a nice glorified thing getting to 19, and it really made it feel good to that point. But it's a 17, 18-point airplane max.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, Charles, you're going to have a Pathfinder that you built. Dick, you'll have an airplane that you built.
Yep.
That you guys will both get whatever appearance points they garner. I will not have an airplane that I built. I'll be starting however many points down, whatever it is. But I'll fly Wednesday and just see where it shakes out.
That's what I'm going to do too, man. I mean, I'm just going to put my best foot forward and see what happens. Have fun and put my best foot forward. But when I'm going for it. I mean, I was, even though Steven said I'm calm and relaxed, I was focused.
Yeah, no, you're flying that airplane. You were calm and relaxed because you were putting the plane where you wanted to fly it, and you had control of the airplane, so you were looking good with it.
Yeah, thanks, Steven. Thanks very much. I'm looking forward to. I'm glad it rained here today, but I can't wait to start practicing. I actually learned a lot at that contest. I've been flying the planes, and if I could explain it to you better, I'm like, here's the wingtip, and I'm watching the wingtip, and so when I get up high, and I realize I'm high, it's too late. I can't fix it. So I'm trying to work on getting the head of the airplane so I can take it where I want it to go.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like an epiphany for me. I actually did it in the second round. I actually did that. I got so excited, I forgot how many loops I did. And
you, Charles, you have trees around where you fly?
Yeah, but not like shooting arrows. I do have trees around me, but not surrounded three-quarters of
I'm
a
not
circle like
talking
they have in
about surrounded,
Whittier.
you got that type of height tree. Like at Whittier now, you see the height of the trees that were out there?
Yeah.
How tall they are, the height. Do you have
Right.
trees around where you fly at that height?
Yeah, I know I fly big, man.
Is that or something to that height at the top of those trees? That was the top of those trees that you have where you fly that you can use as a reference point.
Oh, so you're saying the top of those trees at Whittier is about 45 degrees?
About 45. That Whittier, the top of those trees were about 45.
Really? Okay.
So I'm saying
Yeah.
you have something where if you have something that references, if you have trees that are around that height where you fly, use it as your reference point to be at that height at the top of that tree or below, or if you have something else in that reference, and that's going to help you understand your tops and bottoms and then bring them smaller from
Right.
that point.
Steve told me this last month, I think it was, and he had one of those some sort of like a carpenter square with a level on it. And is that right, Steve? Steve Hines, I'm talking about. Right, Steve Hines?
Yep. And just stand there at 5 feet and peer up it. As long as you hook a level to the bottom of it, so you got a level.
Right.
You get a level on it, get that level. And if you look at, that'll give you your 45-degree angle.
Because I have some light poles that I could use as a reference. Stephen McBride and Steve Hines. I could do it that way. I just haven't found a level yet. I have carpenter squares. I even went into these big box stores trying to find a carpenter square with a level on it, and none of them have levels. They're just
Right.
90
Light
degrees,
poles on
45-degree angle.
light poles on a base and where that sits. Some of them run a little shy.
And these are really tall light poles. These are ones that you use to light that fly where they have it's an athletic field.
Okay.
We have athletic lights at night moon. They're very tall.
Yeah, I've seen you flying at that field on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, that's where all those YouTube videos are shot, in all different locations, but primarily.
You flying over the top of them poles, though? I mean, the top of your loop going over the top of them poles?
I haven't even. I am so focused at that wingtip, I don't even see anything around it. So that's what I'm going to be working on between here and the Nats. I really am pretty excited about that because last year at the Golden State and the year before at the Golden State, I realized I was flying too big, and I've been trying to squeeze the handle to make the maneuvers smaller. But if you're squeezing the handle, you still need to know where you're going. And if you're with the plane, which I think is being behind the plane. In my case,
you're moving the plane larger because your arm is moving too much.
Hey guys, I gotta go to work in the morning. It's 1 o'clock. I don't know if anything's going to be happening on Friday or not, but I'll try to get on.
Well, I'm not going to be hosting, so if anybody knows how to start a chat, I know Charles does.
Yeah, I should do that.
And yeah, you can start one up.
Because we're going to be in
put it in the academic thread.
We're going to be in Huntersville, bitches, having fun.
I understand. I'll just start. I'll start.
I'll take my laptop out to the swimming pool on Saturday night. So y'all start up Saturday night, and we'll be out there drinking beer and raising hell.
Yeah, you guys got to go to a contest last week. We get to go to a contest this weekend.
And I went online, and everybody told me my hotel Wi-Fi was giving you trouble on this.
It was.
You were killing us, man. Well, not you. Your Wi-Fi was.
That's the Hotel 6.
Yeah, it was. And Rusty, we probably had the same problem from the Super 8 in Huntersville because their Wi-Fi sucks. We've had no problems tonight at all.
I tried to get on. I wanted to say hello.
It was good to see you.
Yeah, when I was at Huntersville, I had to go on my phone and use my minutes or my data or whatever.
Yeah, cellular service.
Yeah. Then that worked when I was there in Huntersville, but Yeah, we couldn't get on with the laptop. It wasn't.
Yeah. You gotta watch your
Well,
data on
we took-
cellular service. It'll hit money after a while.
2 years ago, we took Sam's laptop there because he wanted to take his laptop and whatever the Wi-Fi was, and he clicked on a couple of things. It loaded some damn adware on there that just full of pop-up shit, spam. I had to take his computer and have it at Best Buy. I had to wipe the whole damn thing out because there was so much garbage from using the hotel Wi-Fi that got loaded into it, you know.
I used that laptop last year out in Madeira. I had no problem with it when I went out and spoke with you there. Madeira had a better setup.
Well, we'll be whooping it up in Huntsville next week, and I strongly recommend to you guys who have never been there. I know it's all the way across the country for you, Steve, and Charles, but Steve, you've flown down there. Steve Hines, Dick, you've never been there. It's an awesome contest. It really is. Now the spring one is the first one of the year. It's kind of a light turnout, but the October contest is on the hook. And then every 5 years on their anniversary. So was it 35 they just celebrated, Rusty? Or
I think so, yeah.
So
that was 35, I believe.
Next year will be 40 years for Metrolina. They bust the bank, man. They take all the money in the treasury and they buy prizes and airplanes and kick-ass trophies and really nice stuff. Every 5 years they have giveaways to celebrate their 5th year anniversary of the club. And
Charles,
you walk away.
I gave you a flyer, right? Charles, I gave you a flyer at the event.
Yeah, you did. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike Lonke. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay. I was just saying the Metrolina control line contest in Huntersville. It's a great contest, man. It's an awesome contest, and you should try to come. Kick him off. You should try to get there.
Yeah, we'll do
Great facility and fun people.
Hey, Colombo, I got Colombo to come 4 years ago, man, and he comes every year now, man.
Really?
Yeah, Ronnie comes to both. He comes to the May meet and the October meet. Ronnie comes down there here just to fly combat, man.
Banjot shows up at most of them too.
What state Huntersville is in? What state is it in?
North Carolina, this part of Charlotte. It's north of Charlotte.
Yeah, I know that's a long way for you, but
I'm just thinking about that rally they had a couple of years ago. Trump said there were good people on both sides. Is that the same place?
No, that's Charlotte, West Virginia. This is Charlotte, North Carolina.
I thought it was North Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, you take the 40 all the way across.
Well,
But anywho, Dick and Steve, Ronnie makes it every year for the last 4 years from Detroit, man, because it's such a kick-ass contest, and I think you guys would like to.
Danny Banjot makes it most of the time. At least always in October, but sometimes in May too.
We get quite a few Philly Flyers down there. John
I
Saunders,
love the Philly Flyers. That's a great group.
Bernie Szymanski, Alan Buck is always there. Derek Barry's there. Steve Fenton from Virginia. Of course, Will Davis. Watmore.
Yeah.
The guys
Now
out
Derek
Florida.
from Augusta.
Jerry Glyer comes.
I like Jerry Glyer. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Others have been there. John Lindler. Mike Lindler comes. Yeah, we get about Tom Dixon will be there selling fuel next weekend. He's coming because he does every year.
Right?
Dixon will be there.
Steve Fulton goes there too, doesn't he?
Who?
Steve Fulton.
I don't know.
Steve Fenton.
Yeah, Fenton.
Yeah, Steve Fitton comes. He's from the Norfolk aeromodelers.
Yeah, Steve's there. He flies expert.
Right.
Him and John Tate and
Matt Poland goes out there.
And Jimmy Vance. There's a whole bunch of Norfolk guys.
Tom Weedman is
Yeah, I like Tom. He's a cool dude.
Sparky has made it a few times. I've seen Sparky. He doesn't come every time, but I've seen Sparky there before.
Yeah. I think he'll
Charlie
be at
Reeves.
Triple Tree this year.
Charlie Reeves from Paducah, Kentucky.
Yeah, not this
Mike-
year. Charlie's not going to make it.
Mike Stinson from Indiana Skyliners and Tim Lackey have made it. I'm just trying to think of who else.
That sounds like a good lineup.
Roger
Yeah.
Alkaiser, Holy Vodka, those two of my buddies. I don't know if I don't think they're well-known guys, though.
Don Stoneman from Virginia. He flies. He's a combat guy. He comes. We got the Wallaces, Bobby and Robert Wallace, come out of Florida to come.
Phil Cartier's usually there.
They fly. Ray Copeland, who's he's.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Copeland and his wife. They judge combat all day on Saturday.
Yeah, and Ray flies stunt too.
Dennis Hastings. Dennis Hastings is always there, and he circle marshals for us, and then he flies stunt.
Tom Morris usually comes in October, but not necessarily May. Randy Smith shows up occasionally.
Occasionally, yeah. Yeah, there's always
Cartier.
for sure. Bob Cruz.
Couldn't believe Jeff Dawson made it over there last October.
Jeff Dawson made it last October. Yep, he came and flew combat with us.
Yeah, so did Tom Luciano. I don't expect to see him this time.
Luciano. Ken and Sean Cook have come twice. They've been to 2 contests, not recently, but they're Philly Flyer guys.
Yeah, John Saunders always comes.
John Saunders is there. Yep.
Ken Cook. I'd love it if Ken Cook came.
Oh,
Ken and Sean.
Does Joe Gilbert go there?
Who?
Joe Gilbert?
Oh yeah, Joe's been there a bunch of times.
Well, you need to point him out to me because I don't know Joe.
He always wears a white fedora when he flies.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I'll look out for him. Well, Gene Martin wears a white fedora too.
And his wife, Colleen, probably launches.
There's Bill Mandakis is there, and oh man, James Duckworth, of course, Watt Moore.
Yeah, actually, Duck's not going to be there this year, and neither is Watt. Watt might show up Saturday if his daughter will bring him.
Oh, Duck's not coming? That means Kyle's not coming, right?
I'm not sure if that means Kyle's not coming or not.
That'll make Sam's gonna be sad. Sam will be sad.
Oh, that's right, because they hang out.
Kyle is James Duckworth's grandson who flies control line, and he's a year or 2 older than Sam.
Yeah.
But, they've been going head to head against each other for the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. Sam's always got the edge on him, though. I think that kind of kills Cal, but Cal will get there. He's not the natural that Sam is, and he doesn't have as much coaching either.
He doesn't. He does very well, though, for what he's doing. Will helps him out, and Duck helps him out, and they, and Watt just keeps building airplanes for him and fixing them so he can keep flying.
Yeah.
But Sam has a little more natural ability, but we probably spend more time doing it, and that's why Sam is better than Kyle. It's just practice,
Yeah.
Could be just proficient. As
Jerry and Mary Phelps are usual characters that show up.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else. You said Charlie Reeves isn't going to make it this year?
No, he's recovering from neck surgery right now. I don't think he's going to make it.
All right. And Wayne Robinson?
Is not going to be there.
Not going to be
He's
there.
got a soaring contest. He's big into gliders now.
All right. Well, I know Max will be there because I just Max yesterday because he's the one that hunted down the damn bar stool for you.
Max is a great guy.
I called Max yesterday. I'm like, we can find a bar stool for Rusty. And I said, call Will. And he actually went to Will's house. Was at Will's house yesterday. And he called me and said, yeah, we got one. So
Oh, that's so cool.
we got you. But Max will be flying intermediate with Samuel. Samuel will be going head to head with Max in intermediate. And usually there's a couple other guys, Charlie Sabatka.
Yeah, I like Charlie.
And Leroy Polk. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Leroy.
Leroy always comes.
And who's the guy? Bill Gray. Bill Gray. He always flies beginner. Bill Gray. Charlie Sabatka, Leroy Polk. I'm trying to think of the other guy that flew intermediate last year. Len something or other.
Lynn something. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't either. I hope there's more than 3 guys in intermediate, because I don't want Sam to get a trophy just because he showed up.
Yeah.
I hope there's at least 4, and 5 would be even better. And then if he placed, it would really mean something, you know?
Yeah, it does. It's always good to feel like you got a legitimate win.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If there's only 3 there and he gets a 3rd place, it ain't gonna mean shit, you know. But if there's 4 and he gets a trophy, that'll mean something, you know. And he knows that. He knows that, you know. He always hated basic flight, you know, back when he was 6 and 7 years old flying basic. He's like, well, Dad, there was only 2 of us, you know.
Yeah, him and Kyle.
Yeah, you know. And then even in beginner, if there was only 3, you know. But there was a few times when there was 4 in beginner, and there were adults too, and Sam was in first place. And I'm like, yeah. You beat that old guy. You won first place in beginner because you beat the old guy. Not as a junior, but overall, you won it.
Well, if I fly an intermediate, Sam will get to beat me. I'm sure he'll be able to, because I doubt if I'll even get pattern points. I don't know if I can do wing overs and stuff or not. We're
Just
gonna
do
find
them
out.
all. Listen, I'm gonna be spinning you around on the stool. You just do them all out in front of you. Don't let the airplane get behind you,
Right.
and you'll get your pattern points. We're gonna make this happen. We're gonna build this stool, and you're gonna fly the whole damn pattern, man. Don't
Yep.
worry about it. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna run that engine on the ground either tomorrow or Thursday and see what the fuel load looks like. Make sure I know how to fill that chicken hopper up. I was having trouble getting it all the way full the other day.
Tilt the nose up, and then
Yeah.
tilt it in. Put the chicken hopper down a little bit.
Oh yeah, we'll let the fuel flow in and fill it up.
Your vent pipe is going to be in the top left part, top inboard.
That's
front
where it is.
inboard
Yeah.
Of the tank. So and the chicken hopper is all the way down. Make sure the chicken hopper is tilted down a little bit so all the air goes up.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I hope we got good weather. What's the weather report for Huntersville?
Looks like it's going to be in the mid 70s and clear, and winds going to be 6-8 miles an hour, something like that.
I don't even give a shit about the wind. All I care about is it's not wet. Because man, if it's been raining there, we are slogging it out on the combat circle, man.
Yeah, always bring plenty of fresh shoes.
We had to 2 years ago. We had to go to Walmart to buy rubber boots, man, because the combat circle was so damn. I mean, it's not a big deal if you're flying stunt up on asphalt, but if you're flying combat or carrier and it's been raining, it's ugly, man.
Yeah, it's wet.
It's a mutter, you know.
Even early Sunday morning, the dew is always wet enough to soak your shoes and socks too.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, there's that. You always bring 2 pairs of tennis.
Yeah.
Shoes. One for the morning, one for when.
Yeah. That combat at Whittier was pretty fun to watch, right?
Oh yeah, there was so many mid airs in at Whittier Arrows, Mike. And I don't know who won. I don't have the scores, but Greg Hill. You know Greg Hill, right, Mike?
I know the name.
Yeah, Greg Hill was there. I know Rutner was there.
I know Chuck.
you know, I'm over there in the stunt circles, but I could just hear the midair. It was like, you know,
Holden,
3 days of
Holden
midair.
from
It
Las
was
Vegas
funny.
out there. Holden from our Las Vegas club out here. He went out there. He competed Saturday, Sunday.
It's Charles. It's the same thing at Huntersville because it's combat, stunt, and carrier all going on.
Yeah, that's what we had. Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a grass circle for stunt, 2 asphalt circles for stunt. Carrier flies off a grass circle. Combat flies off a grass circle. So we got 5 circles going on for 3 days.
Yeah.
And the combat is kind of off away from the stunt guys, but they, you know, we get together and drink beer on Friday night and Saturday night, and everybody, you know, even though they're flying stunt over there, they can see the matches and they just listen. They listen for the confetti, you know.
That was the best part of the whole combat.
And they'll go, well, you know,
you would hear that and watch. You would see that.
It's
and see him
funny,
flutter down.
Some years we don't have a lot of mid-airs and crashes, you know, but other years we'll have like, you know, 6 in a day. And the stunt guys will be like, man, every time I looked up, I just saw shit raining down and
exactly.
engines and bam, pow, you know. They like it.
You hear these mid-airs and we see the stunt plane still in the air, so we're over there. Funny.
Well, you know, that works both ways. Because while we're flying combat, we can hear and see the stunt flights going on, and they're flying on asphalt, and we can always hear one that's going 4-2, 4-2, and we can hear the pow and the engine click on the asphalt.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, somebody just wrecked a stunt plane over there.
Yeah, I had a friend who lost his T-Bird. It was a T-Bird one he brings out just for the Palmer. You know, Bob Palmer designed the T-Bird, and his T-Bird won a Spirit Award for I think the 50s or something. Beautiful plane, and he had a hardware failure and smashed that plane into that.
I guess what I was saying, it works both ways. You know, the stunt guys hear the combat guys wrecking shit, but we hear when the stunt guys wreck because we know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, even though you're not really paying attention, you can hear it in the background. The stunt gun, the airplane.
Oh yeah.
And you hear the impact and the engine quit and the scoof or whatever, and we're like,
that sudden stop of any aircraft gets anybody's attention.
Yeah, the abrupt stop of the engine run.
Yeah.
Exactly. That doesn't stop. That gets everybody's attention.
Yeah, always.
Watching the combat, that was exciting when you saw that.
And even, you know, I think we got the best seat in the house over there flying combat at Huntersville because the carrier circle's right next to us. So we get to watch
Holly likes to go park the car right in between combat and carrier, and she watches both at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can watch the carrier guys stick it in the drink or lose one when it's windy, or, you know, did you see oh God, why am I losing? I can't remember the guy's name. Everett.
Yeah, Everett Shoemaker.
Everett and Joe, his wife, they're both big carrier people. And Joe Shoemaker, she's awesome. She flies all kinds of stuff. But Everett had this beautiful, brand new carrier plane. And I don't know what class it was. It might have been a 40 or a 60 or whatever. But just beautiful scale carrier plane. And it was one of the first flights he had on it. And it went full throttle right on the takeoff and turned in. It like took off and it turned in like flew right over his head, got to line tension, and then just destroyed itself right on the circle right next to us. And we were all it was
like it didn't have a fail-safe on it?
It didn't have what?
A fail-safe on it, so when it loses line tension,
I don't
it has a fail-safe and shuts it off?
No.
You have that on a combat plane.
Not on a carrier plane.
No, I don't think you have to have
combat.
that.
Yeah, combat. They have that on.
No, this was a carrier plane. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Misspoke.
Because because it happened to the guy in Whittier. One guy cut his lines, and
it shut
took-
off.
it shut off and it
Yeah.
shot out into the trees, and they were actually able to find it in the woods.
Right. You have to have shutoffs on some combat planes.
Right.
But no, this was a carrier plane, and something got hung up on the throttle, and it just turned and went right over Everett's head. And then when it got line tension again, it just big ball of shit, man. But it was a beautiful, full bodied carrier plane.
Everett built some nice planes. You ought to see his half A fleet. It is something to behold.
Yeah, he builds gorgeous stuff. He made the trophies for Huntersville for years. Beautiful trophies, man.
Yeah, that's what those airplane profiles up there are. Those are Everett's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you people.
Yeah, we're gonna turn it off. It's about that time.
Yeah.
About almost 1:30. But man, we had a good show. Appreciate y'all coming in. Glad we had good sound tonight. All except for Lynn. He had trouble, but it turns out I talked to him on YouTube. He's using Internet Explorer. That's where his problems are likely to be originating.
Chrome.
His Canadian internet, man.
Well, maybe so.
Chrome.
But I know Internet Explorer is said to not work at all with Hangouts, and that's what he's using, it turns out. So
Have him download Chrome.
he's going to get Naomi to fix it up for him. Okay, people, we really enjoyed it. It was a good Monday night, and so y'all have a great week. I'm going to pre-flight my Death Star and get my gear ready, and we'll be up there Friday late, and see y'all in the funny papers. You YouTubers, thanks for coming, and thanks. We got some donations tonight.
Yeah.
Appreciate that super chat, and so everybody be cool, take care, have a good week, and well, I won't be here Friday, but somebody can post a link up. It doesn't have to go onto YouTube, but there will be a chat link for those with video. And so everybody take care. We'll see y'all later, okay?
Yep. Bye now.
I'm gonna stick around.
All right.
Charles,
Good
stick
night.
around for a minute.
I will. You gonna stick around, Steve?